What is going on, YouTube world? He's Steve. I'm Dave. Episode number 7 of the Insert Revolution podcast, coming live at you on Tuesday night, October 6th. Just a lot of hectic stuff, world stuff, card stuff, sports. Everything is just as 2020 starts to wrap up here in the next couple months. Again, it's either a lot of change or a lot of the same, and same with our card hobby. That the card stuff is still going strong. There's no dying out in that, certainly, but tonight we're going to talk more. Some of the stuff will have to do with cards, and that's through actually forging these friendships. Not like there's a blueprint you can do and use, because again, it's got to be something that you actually feel. But we'll give our experiences through our journey, pre-YouTube, and then I'd say post-YouTube, but it's more during YouTube.
Yeah, current.
Yeah,
call it current.
So, you get anything? Is that it? I'll start with that first. I know the answer, but I'm going to be polite and ask.
Well, yeah, technically yes, but pending a response. It's been 6 days, and it still hasn't been shipped. Nothing huge, so to speak, but it's still another one to mark off the list. And before we get too far, we can't forget our official sponsor for the evening. Of course, this episode is sponsored by Bud Light, not Canadian whiskey like it was last week. And I would like to say,
what's up, Vinny?
What's going on, Vinny? I did have a chance to pop in a little bit last week. I do want to thank Matt for stepping in for me. I really do appreciate it. I know originally it was going to be all three of us, but it was good to have a night away and focus on trying to help my kiddo get caught up. This year has been quite the struggle. Even going back to school face-to-face, they're still requiring them to still turn in everything online, and it just really... It's not that it's confusing. It's not that it's a pain in the ass. It's just, if you're going to school, the fact that they're still treating it as though that you're working remotely and having to turn in your assignments via this program and everything else, it's a kick in the ass. And so we've had some challenges, but at the same time, I needed to focus on trying to help the kiddo out and get some things caught up and everything along those lines. So it was nice to have some downtime, because we go for hours. Not that I didn't miss it. This has become a weekly thing for us, and it's definitely something that I enjoy. Getting a chance to converse with you, Dave, real world or real time on video. Yeah. Have the interaction with the normal fellows that we have that come in here. I really look forward to this, and it's something to break up the day. Usually we get some laughs out of Bob if and when he decides to show up. So I really do enjoy this, and I miss not being around last week, but a big shout out and a big thanks to Matt for stepping in. I still haven't had a chance to finish watching the rest of the episode, but which I want to do, because although it's hockey, and I hate hockey, I hate it with a passion, but I watched my Stars lose.
Yeah.
But I can't be disappointed with the way that they played. They were outmatched against Tampa Bay. And, it is what it is. It was nice to see them there in the finals for the first time in 20 years. They had a great team. I think it may have been a little bit different if Bishop would have been playing. But,
yeah.
What's his butt I've already forgotten his name. If that tells you how much I really paid attention.
Cadobin.
Yeah, there you go. Hudobin. I mean, the few games that I watched, I mean, holy shit. I just, there were times in which he was on his game. And then against Tampa Bay, it's just like, I don't know what the hell happened. But, it is what it is. That's the only hockey conversation I'm having. That's it. No more hockey, Dave.
Well, I'm going to respond to that a little. I know Carlos was happy too. I don't know if he'll stop him at all, but he's a big Stars guy in Madonna, so he can at least revel in the fact as well that they got this. I don't believe they were somebody like, oh, shit, Dallas. You look at them with Colorado, Vegas again. I don't even know who else was sort of projected in the upper tier. So when they got there, I was like, well, this will be interesting. And you can take solace in the fact that Tampa Bay is going to have to sort of blow up their roster because to, I think, Braden Point, they've got to extend him because he only goes through this next year. And then there's like 2 or 3 other key players. They're going to have to trade away 2 or 3 guys because they're all over $5 million and with like several years remaining. I think Tyler Johnson is like the main guy.
Speaking of Carlos,
you say Carlos and his ears just burn.
I was curious to say I think his ears were burning.
So at least you could take solace in that. Where Tampa, I'm sure they'll still be decent. I mean, they've still got a good core and still they develop their players fairly well. But I mean, they're going to have to make some significant changes to accommodate some of these other contracts they want to either re-sign players to or work their way out of to get money to free up for these players. So I don't know. And the draft, I think, is tonight.
It is.
So I saw that today, and I'm like, shit, that. Because again, it's a draft. You can have the WNBA draft on, and I'm still watching it because it's a draft. It's something that I've always enjoyed, football, and I'm glad baseball finally came along and at least put it on TV, at least the first round. I think more people get into it though. If you get the first like five rounds, you don't need all 50. I don't want to watch all 50.
I watched the first round of the NFL draft, and after that, I don't give a shit. Because that is so drawn out. The first round is so long.
I know.
So long.
It's absurd what a circus they've made it media-wise, and you see the same stuff.
No, Bob, we were talking about you earlier, too.
We dropped your name, so your ears burned out in Pittsburgh. But yeah, the NFL draft, even back to the first one I really remember was the Bledsoe one. Because I wanted to watch, because I remember Bledsoe, Bettis, Glenn Milburn, Natron, Stubblefield. You can laugh for the duration. But over the years, with the video clip,
so perfect. Good, put that there because that's where that's going to go.
I like the personal stories, just so you actually get to know about players and whatnot. And hey, here's a little backstory. Maybe they rescued somebody or did CPR on somebody.
There's been a few, Ty.
You just knocked them off.
Or later.
Yeah.
Terrell Davis.
Brady was 6th round too.
Brady.
Marcus Colston was a late 7th. There's been and then you go back.
Martin was a late pick though too, wasn't he?
Who?
Curtis Marson.
I think he was a 3rd or early 4th for New England.
Shit. Well, let's just see, because I have no. Well, you probably don't have your stuff close.
No, I've got the. I knew where the hockey one was. I think I know where the football is. And all this other stuff. I don't even know.
Since I have some stuff prepped on that Stadium Club, since I have 97, 3rd round, yep.
Like 95?
Yep. 3rd round. But even then,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. I just
That
pulled out
wasn't
this a little bit ago. Do you want to cover
when it was
this?
put down a powder in that draft was the money. He pulled the leg because of the ACL. Watching those drafts, I mean, you'd have a little bit about the player, then you'd have the players getting picked or whatever. And now it's promo after vignette after vignette after promo. It's like, hey, let's look at the trajectory in the 360. It's a cool technology, but at the same time, I don't need to see Joe Burrow showing the same path in 15 different camera ways.
Well, sure you do.
And again, it's not like CBS plays the shit out of the SEC anyway. So I mean, you see every LSU game either on there or ESPN. I mean, it's not like Georgia State or Weber State or Appalachian State. You've got the main marquee guys that are always on TV. So if you can't catch one or two of their games, that's on the fan themselves, not the people watching. So, but yeah,
No,
the
agreed.
draft.
So, yeah, so I had that piece somewhere.
7 minutes for the first round and 5 for like each of the next. That'd be great. But when you have 15 minutes of just whoever Kuiper and McShay and all these people draft next
And it
talking,
wouldn't slide in there.
I don't care.
So then I was trying to.
No, I'm right there with you. I mean,
Yeah, because the one.
what's historically, what round do they usually bring out like ex players to do the draft pick?
It's like the second, and maybe more towards like the third, fourth, fifth. When the associate or assistant, whatever the commissioner was. It was like Adam Silver would do that when David Stern take the first for the NBA. Silver would take the second. So I don't know if it was Goodell or if it was somebody else, but then they started bringing out like, oh, here's Troy Vincent, former Eagles player, to announce the Eagles like 130th pick. And it's cool, but it'd be cooler if like some of these guys were in the stands. Because I know there's a couple older drafts that one or two of these players were in the stands, like, oh, here's what's his name from wherever getting drafted. That's pretty cool. I mean, if they're just sitting among the schlubs, the regular common Joes, and you're getting picked, and that's why I like the NHL one where they come down from the stadium or the stands usually, and then you've got the whole team brass up front, GM, president, scouting guys, coach, maybe a player's mixed in there. You got some of their kids or whatever, and it just makes it feel like a more organizational pick. I mean, it's like, hey, we've invested all this time in scouting you, asking you questions. You're coming to our literally our community for hockey. That's what they make it sort of feel like. It's our community. You're coming to us. And NFL, it's just Goodell up there who a lot of players don't like because he's just a wishy-washy douchebag and he's only in it to make money. I mean, we don't know anybody like that at all, but
What?
so that's I just like the draft. It's fun. I used to always, again, before internet was prevalent, I'd sit there and I'd write down every pick, especially for the NFL. I'd watch all 7 rounds. But then back in like the 60s and 70s, you had 12 rounds. So you had a lot of these Hall of Fame type players or great players. Guess what? They were coming out the 7th, 9th, 10th round. And that's where the teams like the Steelers made their hay, the Cowboys made their hay, was picking all these players way back when, deep in the draft. I wish I had a heart emoji right there, the hearts to go over there. So yeah, the NFL or NHL draft tonight. We will see if Lafreniere gets drafted by the Rangers first overall, and then Quentin Howden, I think, is. And there's a dude from Germany, Tim Stutz, a center. I think Ottawa at 3, but Russian goalie. No, I would say no, but if I have it on, it's like background noise. It's like most of our podcasts that people say, "Oh, we watch this." It's background noise. I don't. It's not like, "Oh, I need to see this guy running in gym shorts, catching a ball, no pads on from a quarterback that is going first overall." That's great. They're doing that, but again, half that stuff you don't need. I don't like the cone drill. The 40 is the most useless tool there is for football or anything other than like a 50-yard dash in an Olympic sprinting sport. 40 in football, you're not running 40 yards unabated without it get touched at all. It doesn't happen unless you break through the defense. That's about it. But it's horrendous, absolutely a horrendous tool. But because people want to judge people and how fast they go, and they look at that and say, "Wow, he ran a 4.2840. Wow, he's fast." Yeah, that's great. But if you're 5'9", 185 receiver, that doesn't mean shit. If
And they're not supposed to run.
that'd be a big. He wasn't a huge guy, but he was a big guy that could outmuscle people because he had a big frame, and he could do like the post maneuver, and like post up people and could just outmuscle them. But that you don't have that drill either. So this is true.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I could give two craps about the combine. But on the flip side, I am a little disappointed with you saying, the fact that people would keep us, on the background is background noise. We're we're much more than that.
I know that. I'm much aware of this, but I've actually heard people say it. Like they'd like to have it in the background, shuffling through cards or sorting through cards, and it's sort of a therapeutic thing. How you can do it. Both the tones talk about the hobby.
Most people don't watch my stuff anymore anyway, so it's all good. I get more views being on this than what I do on my videos, so.
That'll change eventually. But
I
there
don't.
again, you're not pumping out videos like I do either. That's the thing.
Wait a minute. Whoa, time out. You're not pumping out any more videos than what I am as of late, sir.
Well, this is true. I know that, but at the same time, I mean, I'll throw up like the 10 or 12 videos of like the North Shore, and then I'll have like a meat eating chicken sandwiches, and
those don't count, Dave. Those don't count.
There you go.
Yes, I know, Bob. I know. I have it ready. Unfortunately, my honeydew list last weekend, when I was planning on doing a few, was a little bit longer than expected. So I didn't get to it, unfortunately. But I got my honeydew list done, so I got brownie points with the wife. So I'll take that over lack of content any day. Just saying.
Getting brownie points opposed to being in the doghouse, yeah, that's definitely want to go with the brownie points.
Yeah, because I don't get them very often. Just saying. I have my moments. So I took advantage of it. Oh, be ready, folks. Some of that may put you to sleep. When I started getting into 98, 99, 2000, I think 300 and 400 cards plus. Base inserts, parallels, right in those numbers. Y'all are going to think I'm melatonin.
Well, that was yesterday. Because that StreamYard thing is supposed to either today or That must have been yesterday.
You said yesterday I was supposed to reset.
Yeah. And I'm just like, well, may as well go on because, again, I had that box and that was one eat box I could find. On for an hour and it just seemed like 10 hours. Just like,
Well, keep in mind the first 20 minutes, I mean, that was just us shooting the shit, though, too.
yeah.
A little on the downer side on some of that conversation, but, you know, during that conversation, we helped Bob. Well, I should say we helped convince Bob to share opening packs with his dad. Unfortunately, when I said I'd be right back, I didn't get a chance to come back. My neighbor across the street, who I'm really good friends with, had surgery, day surgery on Monday, trying to clear a blockage in his foot. So they did like an angioplasty thing. It's in his left foot, but they had to go in on the right side. So he had just gotten home and stuff and wanted to visit with him, see how he was doing and things along those lines. So I didn't get a chance to come back. But the bit I was there for, I thoroughly enjoyed. That was fun to watch. No, thank you for sharing it, Bob. And that's it. I hate to use it as a segue, but that goes into this somewhat the topic though of, you know, forging friendships. You know, nothing beats a father-son relationship, especially if you share the love of sports and can share the hobby with them. You know, it's one of those that I didn't get that opportunity. You know, I can kind of go into some of that a little bit. So my mom and father divorced when I was 6 months old, okay? She moved myself and my sister up north from San Antonio to North Texas. And lived with my grandparents and everything else. So my grandfather kind of filled that void a lot for me. I always called him dad. He was never my grandfather. It was one of those type situations. Even at 60 years old, guys, and I'm a young kid, he would go out in the driveway and hit tennis balls with a plastic bat to me in the driveway so I could feel grounders, pop flies. You have no idea what this man meant to me. We didn't share he was a woodworker. I mean, he loved, we spent a lot of time in the wood shop having conversations. You know, a lot of my fondest memories are sitting out there, you know, just helping him, right? I got into collecting cards, and later on, I ended up going through like all my 87 tops, my 88 tops, and giving him, you know, a crap ton of duplicates. And it meant the world to him, even though he could give two shits. He didn't know any of the players. My grandmother was the sports person, right? So she's the reason why I got into card collecting, watching sports, and everything else. He can give two shits. He stuck around or he would stick, you know, in the living room to watch them or whatever because that's what was on TV. So he didn't really have a choice. But he had no freaking clue. And, you know, as I got older, my father tried to pop in and out of my life type situation. And I can honestly say I did get him into collecting cards. So that was his one way of trying to be close to me without being close to me, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And he was more a basketball guy than anything. Not sure why. He knew I was a football guy. But for whatever reason, he loved basketball. And he bought me a few boxes and stuff for Christmas, you know, because we would go down to San Antonio for Christmas. I always try to consider it, you know, by my love. Granted, you know, it was one of those, he was putting forth an effort, I guess, so I'll give him credit. Oh, wait, no shit.
Yeah, you missed that.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it then. Damn it.
They've been on a hot streak too. Not to interrupt, but yeah, they've been
No, that's freaking awesome, man.
because out of update 18 baseball, they pulled an SSP Acuna. I don't know if it's like a celebration one or something, but it was. I'm like, oof, absolute fire.
Well, I have it on my watch later list, so I have to go back and finish watching that. That gives me. I'll have to check my conference call schedule tomorrow and see if I can't make sure that I
Sneak some of that in.
absolutely. But anyways, and what's interesting is the time in which he kind of popped back into my life and finding out that he was starting to collect cards. I tried to get him to buy me a box of 93 SP, football and baseball, because it was the hot product at the time. And too rich for his blood, even though even really at that time they weren't super, super high.
What's up, David? Stoddy.
And so to make a long story short from that perspective, we never opened anything other than the fact that he bought me a few things for Christmas. I opened them type situation.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like it was a mutual thing like Bob and his dad were doing. And he did pass away. It's probably been damn near 15 years ago, if not more. I'm bad with dates. Actually, I'm horrible with dates. But I did get about 60% of his collection. Nothing compared to what I've acquired over my years of collecting. But it was one of those that I still have that as they felt it needed to go to me because I'm the one who got him into collecting. And it was more my uncle's doing that I was able to have that. And that's part of what you guys saw in my closet the one night.
Yeah, and my dad, same way. Up here in Ely, he loved woodworking. Same thing. He'd make mostly toys, but I mean anything he could tinker with, the siding or trying to think, not wainscoting, but like the around the room on the bottom, the top. But mostly it was just stuff, toys he'd make. We had a little duck with the cutout. It wasn't rubber. It was more of like I don't know, a thin rubber that flaps. So every time you push it, the trains, signs. Now that my brother's got a kid, a son that's just turned 3 in June. He's got a bunch of the signs that my dad made from like stop signs, yield, the turns or whatever. And I remember going out there. I'd have usually a cardboard box was my fort area. So I'd have like a pound puppy or something, a couple Matchbox cars or my mask toy, my blanket, and then like a stack of cards was always out there with my name on the back. Those are my cards, not my brother's, mine. So, and he wanted probably, I don't think anything to do with cards, just because he thought it was clutter. Because again, as a kid, because he died right before I turned 14 in '94. So as a kid, up until that point, I mean, you sort of your good cards that you knew were good. You made sure they're for you, and they were in hard plastics, and they were in like some sort of box. Because again, 2-row boxes back then, they weren't the rage that they are now. It's more
Right.
like the long set, what would it be, 792 for the factory sets. So something like that, like the white box, the
800 count box type stuff. Yep.
So you'd have to lay everything down. So a lot of the time, I'd just be sitting there and sorting stuff. And he'd just look at him like, that's just a waste of money. I'm like, well, it's something I like.
Yep.
But at that time, the alcohol was really fucking with him. So that, again, that's why I've always said, and we'll get into this later on with the forging friendships, it's it's something where you can put yourself out there. You don't have to. People will say it. You don't have to fucking go as deep as we've gone in any conversation in any one of our videos, either together or in the past. Whatever you feel comfortable with, that's always going to be what you should do. I mean, maybe the comfortability grows as you meet people and start, hey, we're similar. That's pretty cool. You put this out on video for, let's say, a contest or something. Like, maybe I'll do that just to put myself out there. And if I get no reaction, that's fine. I can feel better. Maybe, again, if that's how you feel. Putting it out there and doing that. But yeah, it's just, by that time, I mean, he'd step on the cards because he's just like, fuck, I don't want to have him on the floor. I'm like, you could ask me to move him. I mean, that'd be one thing. But yeah, him and sports, more of like the baseball, Little League, that was his pushing, determining thing. With me, sports-wise, card-wise, he just, because we were horseshit at putting that stuff away. That was the bad part. If even now you can tell that it's not gotten much better. So,
Ty, there's no such thing as going too deep as long as you feel comfortable with what you're putting out there. And this kind of even goes along with the whole etiquette thing. If you feel comfortable putting it out there, who gives a shit what people think?
yeah,
at the end of the day, because you feel comfortable enough doing it. Those people who find it intriguing or find you interesting, or can even somewhat find some sort of similarity, those are the ones that are going to stick around. And that's the basis of what the forging of friendships really comes into play. I've watched all of them as of late. Now, my memory sucks these days, unlike it used to be. It sucks getting old.
Oh,
Once you get over 40, your memory starts going to shit. I'm just saying. And no, it's not because of this either. I'm just telling you. I've always been a drinker, guys. It's just, those people who, like I said, have some sort of likeness or can relate to what you're putting out there, and the fact that you feel comfortable enough doing it. Fuck the haters, because there are going to be some. And for those that consistently, reach out in any shape, form, or fashion, those are the ones that you need to. I'm not trying to tell you what you need to do by any stretch of the imagination, but those who stick around and converse and relate to some of those situations, those are the ones that you need to potentially look at pushing to form those relationships, because I can go back and I can. There's only a few people who know this. This is not something that's anywhere on YouTube, but I'm going to put it out there. I first joined YouTube to promote my eBay. That is no fucking joke. I bought a crap ton of product. I used Chris, the hobby box, as an outlet, buying boxes, having them busted, saying, hey, you interested in cards? Go check out my eBay. Buying mystery packs, joining group breaks, you name it. That's why I joined YouTube. I never in a million years would have thought that I would still have. Now, it's not as big as what it used to be, but I would have never thought I would have still had some of the friends that I do damn near almost 10 years later. Just saying. So, although it was not with the best intentions per se, I felt that they were the best intentions at the time. I would have never thought that I would have built the friendships. And I'm truly thankful for it. people that go back and watch some of my videos, I've shared a lot of my personal shit. You know, the ups and downs of my life, the passing of my grandmother, the passing of my grandfather, uh, my stepson's diagnosis with epilepsy. You know, I've shared a lot of stuff, and for those that were closest to me during those times, they knew about it long before I put it out there on YouTube, and they were always there for me. And for that, I'm always going to be grateful. And I still, I still talk to those folks. It's the list is small. I'm not going to lie. It's nowhere near what it used to be. But, part of that, I can probably say part of that's my fault. Because I used to carry two phones. I had my work phone and I had my personal phone. And my personal phone started having fucking major issues. And so I started using my work phone. And then I canceled my line of service for my personal phone. I've been with this company damn near 15 years. I hit 15 years on November 29th. I'm hoping I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, but I've at least done the smart thing. I've jotted down email addresses and phone numbers of those that I still talk to these days. And, I lost contact with a few folks. Like I said, part of that's my fault. You were in my phone. You were in my work phone.
I know, but
we just stopped talking.
Well, I remember too. I'd ask, has anybody heard from Steve on Facebook? I think in some of the groups, and oh yeah, I guess he's doing well. And it's just like, fuck, because my phone went to shit, and then I had no contacts. Because that's last summer when it got stolen at the store. So I'm like, oh, good, this is a wonderful day that I don't have a fucking contact in here. So I'm gonna have to hope, because again, with the lists, hope that I find one of my address books that I've got people from more of our generation of YouTube in there, or message somebody like, hey, what's so and so's number? I gotta find it. I gotta go a way to find everybody's number. And there's still people I want to text, but I don't have their number.
Right.
So, but yeah, going back to your point, when you put yourself out there, I mean, it's you don't have to reveal every secret, every triumph, every tragedy, everything. You don't have to do that. If you want to, you can. But if people that are genuine people see that you're putting yourself out there and you're not making a big fucking deal about it, you're just saying, hey, I'll circle back in a moment, but I had my one or two contest videos. I had one, I think, in 2014 or 2015. And it was what made you a contest about how you got to the point in life that you're at. What bumps along the way, what peaks, what valleys made you. And I mean, that was a video that I wanted to make, for me, because it was therapeutic, because I talk about a lot of the stuff, but I am horrible at getting over this stuff. My mind doesn't let things die. It's quite possibly one of the worst minds in the world, where it's literally like the hamster on the circle thing. It fucking doesn't stop with a lot of the bad shit in life.
Yeah.
I think I'll always be that way, because I'm not going to go take prescription drugs and mellow out and chill out, man. Just smoking some of the.
Yeah, I was here saying, smoke a J, Dave. Jeez.
No, I need to get work done at work, so I can't just be bebopping around like.
No, you do that after work. You don't do it before work. You do it after work.
To do it during work with some of the other workers. But I wanted to put that out there because it helped me. I mean, it's not like I've been secretive in a lot of stuff ever on here. I mean, you saw me naked in the shower. I was naked. You saw probably my tender vittles pop out when I did the Whoop There It Is video. I mean, there's plenty of times where I've put myself out there, unlike anyone else. I mean, well, again, where I work, that is madness because it's a joy working there. But
Bullshit.
I
What?
know.
Who said that?
Yeah,
Bob, was that you who said that?
classic. Yeah. I think Stoddy, you got in that video, and that was one. It was tough to watch, but again, he put himself out there. Remind me, Stoddy, was it about your grandma? Again, that contest was so long ago. I remember it was like a 28-minute video, which again, I love. What's going on, Mike? I love the
What's going on,
longer
man?
videos, and then when it's a, you've said a lot of you have. And I mean, I don't expect because oh no, I'm not giving away $100 PayPal or let's say at the time I don't even know Steph Curry rookies or whatever. I'm not giving away that. My gain from that by giving away $25 PayPal, which Alan Hardy didn't want, goes to Zepho, which was I still have to find something from him. There's a lot of stuff that I don't keep in, but there's a lot of stuff I don't, and it sounds counterproductive, but you don't want to sit there and talk about and harp on, or because everybody's going through shit. That's the thing. If I want to talk about something, or Steve wants to talk about something, or anybody in here wants to talk about something, they want to do it. Most of the time, we're going to text each other, message each other some way, somehow, call each other. We're not going to go, hey, I'm going live right now. Just because a lot of the time that seems forced. Maybe you're pandering and trying to drum up some sympathy. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just want to fucking get out there and just say,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. I don't know who else to turn to. I'm just going to fucking talk into a camera because you just need to get something out. But again, a lot of people, if they try to drum it up, which we've seen in the past, way back in the old guard of YouTube, when you see a lot of people like, oh, sympathy stories or sad stories.
You can usually. Okay,
I
so
know I'm aware of that.
okay, I don't want to say usually, but it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long for you to figure out those that are actually trying to look for sympathy and try and get something out of it, and those that are seriously just saying, "Hey, guys, you know, this is the reason why you hadn't heard much from me or seen much of me. You know, I got a lot of shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to fill you full of sob stories by any stretch of the imagination, but hey, here's just a rundown of what's going on."
Yeah.
And you know, it's because, and that goes back to the whole community thing. You know, that's what it was. And anybody who came to the table, contest related response, or you know, just making a video or whatever, and pouring their heart out when it comes to certain shit, it wasn't about sympathy. Like I said, there were some out there. I mean, you always have your bad apples, let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, typically it wasn't. I'm always a firm, I always say this. The only luck that I have these days, it seems, has been bad luck. You know, I have a span of some good time, and then all of a sudden it's like fucking one after the other. And it's like, okay, how much more of this shit can I take? Don't read into that, folks. We're not going down that road. But, you know, it's like, holy shit. And, I mean, me personally, I never did it for sympathy by any stretch of the imagination. I cared about a lot of the people that I knew who watched my videos. I didn't have everybody's freaking cell phone number. I didn't have everybody's email address. So it's not like I could, text a bunch of people and say, hey, just an FYI, this is what's going on. Just wanted to let you know type situation. So I did it to inform those people that I had in what I would call my circle of friends and, acquaintances that were a little bit more than acquaintances, but they weren't like best friends type situation where I'm not going to tell my whole intimate life story to, like I did earlier to a bunch of random people. You guys aren't random. But, I did it so people knew. And I did that out of respect for them because, it's one of those in which during that time, if you were active, extremely active, and all of a sudden you kind of like disappeared for a little bit, people started wondering. And if you had a pretty close group of friends that you kept in contact with, even outside of videos, you kept them in the loop of what was going on. But then some of those same people may be asking, hey, everything good?
Yeah.
Have you heard from Steven? What's going on? That type of stuff. And that's where the whole forging the friendships comes in. It's, cards are the bonus, guys. And I know it sounds so cliche, but cards are the bonus in all of this. And looking back for when I first started and knowing the reasons why I joined originally and looking at things now, like I said, I would have never imagined the outcome. I would have never imagined those close friendships that I have to this point. And what makes it even better, in my opinion, is we're all different people. I have friends that Dave probably could give two shits about. Dave has friends that I probably could give two shits about. And no, it's not anybody who's here.
Maybe.
Gotta go and throw that out there. But it's one of those in which, that's what makes it enjoyable. And the other thing from a friendship perspective is you don't always have to agree about the same thing. Dave and I disagree all the time. I'm not a yes man. He's not a yes man. We're not going to consistently sit there and be like, oh yeah, well, yeah, you're right, Dave. No bullshit. That's not real. That's not legitimate. That's just, it's forced. And that's one thing that, I'm very, I don't want to say selective, but I'm that's where I try and the friendships that I form, I don't want that person to feel like they're so far up my ass that they have to agree with everything that I've said, everything that I've done, because what purpose does that serve? Good friends can always have good conversation and disagree. And I'm not going to be like completely pissed off at Dave and be like, you know what, dude, fuck you. I don't give a shit what you say. You're wrong. This conversation's over. No, that's not how shit works. That's why I enjoy the conversations that I have. I mean, how many times have we disagreed on the podcast? It's not frequent because we have a lot of the same likes and things as it pertains to the 90 inserts and things along those lines.
Yeah.
But we've still disagreed. But it's not like, oh, you know what, Dave? Screw this. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm leaving for the night. No, it's because that's what makes good conversation. Because there could always be another point of view in which maybe you didn't think about. And that's what makes those conversations, that's what makes those friendships worthwhile, is you learn from each other, you build, on each other, whether it be knowledge, whether it be finding out additional likes. We were talking shit. It's probably either second or third. we were prepping for the podcast on a Saturday or a Sunday or something. And we went on here, and it was just the two of us talking about, getting prepped for the next show and things along those lines. And we talked about freaking toys that we grew up, and he sparked an interest. And I got a little pissed off at my wife, I'll be honest, because I couldn't find the freaking box of my mask toys. I still have it. I have no interest in it, but I still have them. And I'm going to tell you, there's a market out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I also told Dave, because he's like, you know what? There's a few things that I wish I still had. If I come across them, Dave's going to be the first person I reach out to first. Hey, dude, I found them. Let me know. And Dave and I can always work something out because that's what we do. Just saying. No, good friends do not outbid each other. That is a shitty friend. And Dave, you should kick Dave in the ass for that. No, I'm just kidding.
Should have been more.
Exactly.
No, there's a lot of people, and again, we won't name names because that's not the fucking place. Nobody's gonna.
No,
but
we're not
there's
going there.
people that you said just like and agree with people. There's a lot of people we've known over the years that do that.
Yep.
I don't know if they want to feel they're in the in crowd, or that they've got confidence issues, or whatever the case may be. That's not how solid, lifelong friendships are formed, by being somebody's doormat and yes man. That's not how it works. And over the years, we've seen our fair share come and go. I'd say the community
He's on his podcast.
is bigger, just because you have so many more of these dumb channels, and I'll call them dumb. I don't give a shit about investing information. I don't care about. For me, analytics doesn't matter when I'm looking at what I'm buying, what you're buying, what most of us are buying. We're not sitting there and watching 4 to 5 hours of some other schlub talk about, well, look at the trends of the card. No, fuck it. I'm not watching that shit. The community is bigger. Or I'd say the card, it's not even a community. The card world on YouTube is bigger. The community feel of it, it's at times feels the same, but it's not as intertwined as we were. No.
Can we kick him out? Can we ban him? Just kidding, Carlos.
Every once in a while, so we gotta.
Just kidding, Carlos.
We can't ban the people that are commenting. We wouldn't have too many left.
Well, that's true too.
But the people, and again, I'm not painting the picture of like everybody was a rainbow happy family 10 years ago in the YouTube world. They weren't. There were cliques. People didn't like each other. People didn't want to fucking be around this one or that one or whatever. It was super petty, as it is now too. So again, nothing's changed. It's the fact that people look to monetize stuff because they've collected longer. They want you to value their information that they're giving you more because of graphics or charts or fucking whatever the crap may be. They haven't been in the hobby fucking for more than a couple of years at most, and they think their word's fucking gospel. These are people that are not good for a quote-unquote community setting. These people are good for Wall Street. That's what they're good for, and that would be the Wall Street version, or the section of the YouTube sports card world. So I don't know. The community aspect back then, it wasn't about everybody making money. Sure, you had people doing group breaks, mystery packs, stuff like that. But that's what you have. And once in a while, Michael Sevens would have the custom case break type stuff.
Yep.
But I mean, it wasn't people. Hey, I got a hot tip. It's the old Sunday morning before the football games. My lead pipe lock of the week. You want the top updates and highlights rookie that's going up 10x. Oh, 1-900. Hot cards. Get my number. Get my card. Get my tip. No, nobody cared about that because everybody that was making videos then, they knew about cards. It wasn't people just walking in off the street or getting teleported in or whatever the fact may be. It's people that actually like the hobby, love the hobby, and wanted, even if it was in some odd ways, be friends with some other people in the hobby. Unlike it is now, where it's the old wolf seeing the dollar signs, the eyes turn to dollar signs, and the tongue starts flapping out, and you just see a sucker. It's a used car salesman throwing snake oil.
Well, don't forget, we are getting ready to roll out the premium subscription to the podcast. We haven't introduced this yet, guys. Are y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready? It's only $6,000 a month for our free advice.
Drop in the ocean.
Just saying, man, that you guys got it. I mean, if y'all all kind of get together and, pitch it all together, then, nominate a spokesperson. We'll have 2 watchers and 1 person chatting for the entire group. And if you do it early, we'll even give you 10% off.
There will be a 20% restocking fee, though.
If you cancel.
Yeah.
Do we need to send them the PayPal information?
There's something else, and I know we'll jump off topic of the and I don't know if he's going to be on that Sports Cards Live tomorrow. And again, Carlos, you can chime in here because I think you're going to probably know more about this than I or Steve. No, top loaders are going to be a bonus if you buy our super duper extra snazzy premium at $7,500. You'll get 1 package of 25 count top loaders, but they won't be the regular. It's going to be those big gold rookie card things on top. The printing, the rookie card, and there'll be like a green border instead of just a clear plastic. There's
but they're not free.
No.
So you have your subscription, but then the top loaders are $100 a piece for that 25 pack. That's the only way you can get it.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 10 grand, guys. You can't beat that, man.
No.
What,
Don Weston give deals this good.
I mean, geez. I mean, we can't keep them in stock. They're flying off the shelves. What are you waiting for? I have a few discolored yellow ones in my box over here.
I want to get a case of them, but I don't want to pay the current price. I'm like, give me back
and better yet, if you sign up for the mega super ultimate premium package for only $1 million, Dave and I will sign an old, used, yellow, discolored top loader, and we'll ship it to you for only $5.
Cheaper than eBay.
Come on, guys. I mean, let's. Who's in? Who's in?
To coin Don West. Who's gonna get him? Kenny, who's gonna get him?
Oh shit! I'm sorry, guys. Oh.
Carlos, if you're still listening and you haven't jumped out of your condo yet, it's almost like a timeshare.
Yes, Bob. Stoddy, hey, you got it.
You don't want my used socks. They smell like death.
But it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you.
I'm on my feet all day, so you gotta take that cent in. It's like a timeshare where you can buy into a card, like a 52 tops mantle.
Oh, I heard about this shit. What the?
I believe that. I fully believe that. And again, that's the thing. I don't know much more about it than you basically buy into, quote unquote, ownership of a certain card. Pool water, that'd be an improvement. That's an improvement. It's pungent, to say the least. And that's freshly washed ones, too. But again, I'm on my feet all day moving around, and a man of my carriage moving around all day, that's not a good, that's not going to leave a flowery trail wafting behind me. Gene pool, yeah, that's more apropos. So I saw it, and I'm going to actually watch it tomorrow, try to catch a bit of it, just to understand what the fuck is going on, because I can't see. Yeah, I missed Carlos the other night. I saw him with a meat, but I caught it maybe an hour in. I don't know. I caught it.
Probably not.
None.
So, and that to me is where that would be really difficult. And I guess I'm going to have to go back and watch part of it because I'd really like to understand how that really works. Because if I am 150, okay, so I'm going to break this down easy. Well, maybe not so easy. If I am 1/52nd of an owner, okay, so 52 weeks in a year, 52 mantle. You see where I'm going with this? So if I own 1/52nd of said 52 mantle card, that means I should have possession of said card for at least 1 week. Because to me, if I don't have possession of it at some point, I don't own it.
No.
Or a stake in it, for that matter.
Yeah, there again, it's like the timeshare, and even with the timeshare, you can use it at some point in time. The mantle, you can't physically hold it. It's not like you can be like, hey, card shop clerk.
Well, and the other question is though, if you split a card in hundreds, let's say, okay, and a card is $1,000, okay, does all 100 people have to agree to sell said card if it reaches X percent increase? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah.
Or do I just need to go watch the stream, Carlos? And that's fine. Feel free to say that. I didn't get a chance to watch it, and that's fine. I just, that makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever. I obviously agree it's dumb.
Yeah.
End of conversation. But to have a percentage stake, I mean, I get, from a Bitcoin perspective, you own a percentage of a Bitcoin, but that's something physically that you can sell. You don't have to own a whole one in order to sell it, I don't believe. Broke down one of the examples to try and help for. Okay, so I need to go watch. Okay. And is that the one with the meat? Dave? Is that the one
I
specifically?
don't know if that's, he had another one. What day was it?
Well, I know he
Yeah.
had two. He had one Friday and one Sunday, I believe, and his he was actually supposed to do his card video on Saturday, but I think he actually did it on Friday because I have it on my watch later list to watch.
Yep. I think I started watching it, so loop into my history, so I can just go back to the history and jump into there. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Carlos. I'll have to go check that out because I just that blows my freaking mind that hey Dave. So you want to buy a percentage stake in my Terrell Davis collection?
Fuck yeah, you know it.
So I have it valued at right around 30 grand.
Let me just take out my checkbook here.
What percentage stake do you want in it?
Let's go with like what the interest rate seems to be about, what, 2.8, 2.9%.
All right, send me that check. And when I sell it, I'll make sure that you get your percentage there. Ay, ay, ay. Jeez. I am flabbergasted with that. I just, wow. The things people can come up with.
And that's
where. Okay, so initially, I think it's kind of a cool concept. I mean, if you really think about it, it's different. It's forward thinking.
Yep.
But to me, there's a lot of things out there that could really go wrong with that.
If anyone watches The Simpsons, it's sort of the same when, is it Bart Nelson in Milhouse or Bart Milhouse and Martin? They buy Radioactive Man #1. They all pool their money together to buy the copy of the comic book, and it just goes to fucking shit because, well, I want to have it on Tuesday and Friday. You can have it on Thursday and Monday, and I'll take it on Saturday and Wednesday. Sunday's like the day we all sit around. But again, it's just not for a tangible item that you don't actually get to
Hold.
physically own yourself or have in your possession. It is a fucking wretched thing. Yeah, you're not. This isn't like a 52 mantle is going to be, let's say, a PSA 3. Whatever those go for, let's say $50,000. You're not going to get it at like 30,000 amongst the group, the initial buy-in, or hope we're going to discount it so we can get people in. No, you're going to be paying. If it's 50, you're going to be paying 75, so they clear fees.
Yep, you're still going to be paying a premium.
Yeah.
And even at a percentage, you don't own it. It's not like owning a business.
No.
It's not like owning a house or a rental property, for instance. I mean, if Dave, myself, and Bob decided to get into real estate, okay, triple-headed idiot real estate company. No offense, Bob. That wasn't a slap at you, but I'm just throwing this out there.
He's from Pittsburgh, so we can call it Three Rivers Real Estate.
Okay, there you go. That works. So 33.33% stake in said business. We all invested equally. Okay? If we sell out, then we're getting something in return. It's although a business is something physical, but it's still something on paper. When you're talking about something that's cardboard, and who has possession of it? How do you trust that people have possession of said card?
No, that's the thing. And that's where, again, I still think, and I know a lot of people that are watching, a lot of people that may not see this are going to agree that this hobby has become so consumed in the muddy and murky waters of those three rivers to make money. Anywhere you're lifting up, again, it's looking for like the mouse or the ghost from Scooby-Doo or something or a cartoon. You're looking under every rock. You're looking under every pillow, every sheet in the cabinet. You're looking everywhere to find another place where you can make money. That it just seems to be the natural progression, which it shouldn't be. It's horrible because again, we've talked about it. We buy cards, but we also buy them with the intention of someday somebody in our close inner circle, trademark Chris Jericho, to reap some sort of reward, as it were, to sell them after we pass, pay our expenses, pay whatever bills, whatever things are left. We're not just going to buy 91 tops and just, that's going to be our fucking nest egg. As much, I'm sorry, Bob. I hate to break that to you, but that's your free advice of the night.
A lot of people did it though. That's what people were banking on that.
And that's the thing now that they're doing too. It's base rookies. Base. Megan Trainor saying it worse than when it's going on now. It's not all about the base. It needs to be about the finite number of copies of a card. Or that's, if you're going to look to invest in something, that's the stuff to invest in. But again, we're not doing that. We're buying stuff because we collect it, and because again, you're not gonna buy a 12 Bob, the first hint: get a pencil that's sharpened and some paper. That'll help.
Don't you know you should always come prepared to the show?
Yeah. If I was your teacher, I'd fail you. I know that's that's going to bring you back to high school days, and I'm sorry to open up those wounds, but you're not going to buy a Terrell Davis Mirror Gold that's bent. It's like, nope. Why would I do that? I want the card, but you know what? I want a decent copy of the card at the very least. Oh, this will be in the final exam, but this will also be in the midterm and like one of the opening quizzes. So it's going to be a 3-for-1. Once again, going back to the Three Rivers.
But and you have to pass in order to buy into the subscriptions that we're offering.
It's going to be like a card IQ test. If you fail and you have the money, you might be more apt to getting quicker because.
Yep.
That seems
we're looking for that easy money, guys. Come on, man. You're not helping us out here.
When we invest in our stuff, it's solid copies of cards we like for our personal collections or cards that we can get at a deal that we know there's some room for growth. I've got a bunch of Juan Soto rookies. Again, I'm not selling now. Tatis Jr., I could probably sell and make some money.
You're full of shit, Bob.
There's not 8 pencils in your fucking house. And if you have 8 pencils, they're going to be in that kitchen ceiling with a hole in it. I know that's what I'd do. I'd sit there and throw them up there.
Ay.
But people now, they just want to buy into whatever anybody is shilling. And I don't mean Kurt. you're just pumping whatever, pump, and people aren't actually taking a moment to think for themselves. Well, hey, do I need a Topps Update Soto? It's a cool card. This sports cards live after hours the other night. But why? There's millions of copies of it, I'm sure. Unlimited. You want one, you can go out there and find it. The rainbow foil, that's going to be a little tougher. The gold, the 2018, that's going to be tougher yet. The black to whatever it is, 68. Yeah, now you're starting to get in the might not be perceived as, oh, those are the grail true rookies, but these are going to be the cards that you find down the road. Like, fuck, I can't find like the Independence Day, whatever, 76 one. Stuff like that where it's not obscure because, again, they're well known now. This is true.
What's a pencil?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's got the yellow ones, the yellow number 2 pencils. They're not the fancy clicking lead ones, like the 0.7 or 0.5 lead in there.
did my intelligence go down a notch? Ask him what a pencil is. Oh, damn! I'm being kicked from the show, guys. I don't get to enjoy any of those big paydays that are coming, for our premium free advice. Oh man! See,
It just, again, there's so much that goes on with this investing nonsense, as I call it. So they break right away.
See, I can still. I'm investing in my child's future, so to speak. But it's not to make a quick buck. So I mean, we can always call it an investment, but typically most of us. What is that? I don't have any lunatics. Well, correction. You're watching 2 of them right now.
Yeah, we buy the cards at the prices we think are maybe
Reasonable.
If it's not fair or good, it's a reasonable price that we can talk ourselves into paying.
Justify the expense. Call it justification.
Yeah.
I like that word better. Because, not last week, but the week before, talking about, the most amount of money dropping on a card. And Ty, I think, about fell out of his chair when I mentioned that there was a few that, were pushing $350. It's all about being able to justify said expense at the end of the day. And, my list is still fairly substantial when you look at the entire collection spectrum for, what I'm still needing to pick up. But those that I still iconic, I won't touch $350. It won't be anywhere close. I mean, you're talking, $5, $6, $7, $1,000. And, right now that's not in the budget. And it will take a long time for something like that to be in the budget, so to speak. The stars have to align, the full blue, red moon has to, everything has to be right in order for something for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I don't, although they would be huge and I would love to own them, it's not high on my priority list because it'd be very hard to justify that. Nor do I have the funds right now in order to pull something like that. I mean, I'd have to say, okay, what can I do here? Hey, Dave, can you loan me a couple $100? Hey, Michael, can you loan me a couple $100? hey, Dad, can you loan me a couple $100? But even then, I still, it's just not in the cards right now. Although it would be really freaking cool, not going to happen. And that's okay. Well, let me know when that happens, because I may just have to go sell one of those.
No, there's stuff that, again, we talked about it with that Brodeur totally certified gold to 59. I wasn't even comfortable offering what I offered, but I did because I was thinking, okay, maybe he budget, maybe we can at least talk. And I don't know if I'd come up 100 on that, but at the same time, just to listen, have him listen, no. He was so entrenched in what his price was. The bottom line was going to be 900. I'm like, that's no, just no. But yeah, there's things that I would pay, like the Lombardi. That's an absolutely iconic piece of history. When you talk football, one of the first three names any football fan that hasn't been that has been a football fan for more than the last 5 years, Vince Lombardi should be one of the first names out of your mouth. And then like Nagurski, Ernie Nevers, Newt Rockney, some of those guys I still want to pick up eventually. Again, those, and I know those are going to cost a bunch.
Nagurski.
Yeah, that's going to be, that's one of the big ones for me, especially since he was born in International Falls, which is about an hour and a half drive from here. But a lot of the stuff, like Brodeur, it's what I feel comfortable with. I'm not sitting there and trying to compete with anybody else that's buying this stuff. If they want to pay more, go ahead. There's stuff I really want. There's stuff I probably know I won't be able to afford, because there's a lot more Brodeur collectors out there that pay a lot more. But if I can, I've got a bunch of nice stuff already, and I'm happy with it. Again, unfortunately, being collectors, we always want more.
No, no, I'm done. I don't want no more. No.
I've reached my quota. No more. So, I don't know. It just, all this investing stuff, then getting them to pay more for what, it's like the Dwayne Wade Topps rookie. I get it's a nice card. I think I paid like $3 for it. They're going for like $25, $35. How? Luca. Donruss base rookies were at 100 to 175. Luca, Donruss base rookies. There was nothing special about that card whatsoever.
Well, but on the flip side, it goes back to some of the reasons why I collect sets.
Mm-hmm.
It never had to do with return on investment, so to speak. Long-term investing, buy sets, build sets that have your base rookies, because that's ultimately where the value is going to be. Your base rookies are always going to hold the value.
Later, Stoddy.
Take it easy, man. Thanks for hanging out. That they're always going to hold their value if they become a superstar. I mean, if they become a stud, make it to the Hall, everything else, it's only going to increase in value. The difference is from when I pretty much stopped collecting said sets. It's really hard to do that these days because of the freaking crazy prices of boxes and everything else and stuff along those lines. Years ago, if you thought about it, it was like, oh crap, you know what? Let's say me being a Topps Chrome guy, we've had these conversations before. 2001, I have none. Zip, zero, zilch. And there were times in which I was like, you know what? I need to go back. I need to find a set. I need to find one. Screw buying all the individual big price rookies. Just do it all in one fell swoop. Years ago, it would have been feasible.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, you can freaking forget it. But, within a certain time frame, you could always go back and pick up some of the stuff you might have missed. You usually have a 3 to 5 year window, give or take. You go back, so we're here 2020, you go back 2017, was that Mahomes?
Yep.
Good luck. Try finding some decent 2017 sets, and you probably could. I mean, there's always deals to be had, but it's not what it used to be going back some years prior. That we're in the 3 year window, but you add another year where it becomes a 4 year window, you're really starting to dig yourself a hole, because with the way he's playing right now, he's a future Hall of Famer. And I hate to say that, the kid's only been in the league for as long as what he has. But the kid's a future Hall of Famer. He is on pace to be one. That's the reality. He could freaking tear his ACL this year. No offense to any Kansas City Chiefs fans, but he could break his ACL this year and still come back just as strong. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to have a long-term impact. That happens, it'll have a short-term impact, those situations. If that's something that you want, those are the situations that you take advantage of. But you do it because of that's what you're wanting to collect. I don't own a Mahomes rookie card. I would love to own one, because it's not just because of his stature right now. I've always had this thing about trying to get a set from every year, no matter what it is, to make sure I had a rookie card of all the rookies for that year. And I stopped doing that some time ago. Why? I have no fucking clue. Just saying. But I did it for years. And, for whatever reason, it's, I went on my hiatus, and I truly stayed on my hiatus. There was really not a whole lot of interest there. And it's not that I got burnt out. It just, I guess I was in a part of my life to where it wasn't fun. And I never thought I would get to the point to where it wasn't fun. But I always find a way to go back and reliving and reappreciating the love of what I had and making it fun again by doing different spins or different, thinking differently when it comes to, what you're picking up and things along those lines. And to a certain degree, I know why it became no longer fun, because I was focusing on the higher end stuff, the low numbered stuff, autograph type things, which, typically come with an uptick in price. Not to mention when he made it into the Hall of Fame, that of course increased his value, of course. More and more people were trying to go after his stuff. And it just, I basically almost priced myself out of the hobby, I guess, because my budget had dropped significantly. And starting to have the conversations with Dave and stuff again, and even Michael, this film not yet rated, re-sparked the love of, focusing on, a lot of the older stuff, the 90s stuff, the cards that I grew up enjoying, because I collected a shit ton during those years. And it just kind of put a spark back in the step, I guess, to try and start looking at a lot of things along those lines and rekindling that love for what I will never hate this hobby, but sometimes you have peaks and valleys, I guess. And at that point in time, I was in a valley, and due to conversations and the friendships that I built, rekindled that love for what I've been focusing on. So kind of always goes back into the forging of the friendships, though, because of the conversations of, you and I having those talks and you sharing stuff and finding those sets that it's like, oh shit, yeah, I remember those. And oh man, yeah, you suck because you were able to buy said set for, pennies on the dollar type situation. And I'm like, man, I remember those things. That's really freaking cool. And that, just having those conversations, it, like I said, it rekindled that spark in why I'm more around these days, I guess. So it's all Dave's fault. So for those who actually wanted me to disappear for good, you can blame Dave.
That's all right. No, that's with your set thing. I know you've mentioned some of the sets you've tried to get, and then it just the stuff kept going up and up and up, and then again, when the hobby starts to feel like a job and you're not it's not your actual job, that's when that flame from being a campfire now is to like just the match lighting. You just feel burnt out, just like, okay, I need to take a step back. And all of us probably at one point or another have done that because, again, there's times when you just get too amped up. You lose something that's major. You thought, hey, I'm going to put a bid in of X. It went for Y. And that was like Z over what you had intended to get. You're like, how the hell did that go from 150 to 380 when the last copy sold for 110? And that wasn't even just like the one bidder above. It was like 8 bidders. Oh. So then you start thinking, well, fuck, why am I going to be in this? Because again, it's the something that shouldn't be going for that much went for that much. Like, well, this sucks. So then, again, the negative thoughts come in, and again, going back to putting yourself out there, you can have the varying degrees of negative thoughts. It can be about personal shit, life shit, the world shit, card shit, your hobbies, whatever. It just. But again, once that boulder starts rolling, in a lot of respects, for me especially, it doesn't stop. It's a tacky boulder, so it's like a lint roller. It just picks up everything along the way. So.
Oh, look at that! I got a new subscriber.
Good. See,
Stoddy boy.
I'm gonna go back to this book just because we try to answer all the questions. I don't have a clue, Ty. I have over 1,000 Josh Johnson authors himself. So I can't even imagine what I'd have of. I really don't. I don't even want to go down that path figuring it out because I know it would just be. You wouldn't, and I guess this could be a blessing for most. You wouldn't see us on here because I'd be counting my cards for 2 or 3 weeks at least.
I'm actually going to show some cards, Dave, for once, since my wife isn't here and I'm having a chance to get in the office.
For me,
These are not ones I have in the box. But this will, what's going on, Brad? This will give you an idea of some of the things that eventually you will see when I actually get to the patch auto collection stuff.
Me, I haven't taken a hiatus really other than like a few months, 6 months maybe, and that was when I was younger. But it wasn't like a full-time. A lot of people just go away from the hobby for years. That I'd pick up a pack here because again, back in the '90s, that stuff was so prevalent. It wasn't like going to Target and Walmart now, where you can't even find. They have a display 12 feet long, and there's not a single sports card on there. That's a nice one.
It's fake.
No.
No, it's a fake.
What's the numbering?
It's a, what? Seriously, Dave?
1 of 1?
Yes. But it's not game used.
Oofta.
So it's what's going on, Ed? But there was 2 out of definitive. And this is the one that I wanted. The other one looked like it was freaking rubbery, like weird shit.
Was that the collar shield, like right here?
Yeah.
Like the whatever the V of the collar up on that jersey.
So like I said, this is just a sneak peek of some of the stuff you'll get to see.
What's up, charlatan?
Yes, that is 2 of 2. These are the ones that I haven't integrated in yet.
See, the early Spectra, that stuff, I really, really, really like that. But then they got away from what brought them to the table, and well, it's just shit again, too. Like every other Panini product, they just destroy it.
That's numbered to 25. I know there's a lot of people out there that aren't a fan of like the college uni stuff, but I never cared. That's numbered to 5. There's you an exquisite. Like I said, these are the ones that I just haven't had a chance to integrate. That's numbered to 25. And yeah, I even did duels. Him and Brandon Jacobs, numbered 2 of 5. I think I'm boring people.
No.
There's another exquisite. That's numbered to 3. It's called Amish Dave Archer and Broncos Steve. That's who you need to invest in.
Yeah. Super premium, incredible subscriptions.
Another exquisite.
You're going to have to go back and watch. We've already discussed this topic.
Yep, you missed it. So, illustrious. Another exquisite, go figure. Isn't the saying always go big or go home? Here's an actual older one. And yes, I know that says to 150, but Dave, you'll have to go find your Beckett. But I think only the first certain numbers are autographed.
25, I think, because I think I've got a Culpepper like that too.
There's that of Immaculate. Nice old 101 right there. And this is another one of the buybacks, numbered to 13. So just saying, that's something that when I actually get to the autos and patches and stuff, that's some of the stuff that you can look forward to seeing.
Yeah.
Something. Hold on, Dave.
Everything that.
And before.
But that auto patch stuff is going to be just jaw-dropping.
So there's a few things that you won't see. Yes, I know it's crooked, guys. But so the 97 Leaf 8x10 won't be shown in the video when I do it in the 2 absolute memorabilia signing bonuses. Won't be in the video when I do the auto stuff because they're hanging on the wall. I just stepped on my dog. But, it's been a while since I've done a video on my office. So that's 2 16x20s. That's a 16x20. That's my frame jersey. So, yeah. Just showing you a little stuff.
Yeah, I eagerly anticipate the videos just because that's stuff that I like seeing. I like seeing like Carlos. I want to see at some point him do the Madonna showcase. I know you love hockey.
I'd still watch it. I would still watch it.
I wish more people would do them because, again, you always see people say, "Oh, here's my mail day. Here it is." You've got a year worth of videos. Show us, not completed, obviously. Show us what you've got, even if you got to break it up into the years. I don't think I've come across any hockey ones. I might have like a Dumba one from years ago that I put like, oh, here's my updated Dumba stuff, and eventually I'm gonna put that out because I know Matt had said I didn't even know you collected Dumba. I'm like, yeah, I've got a bunch of his stuff, and I just like seeing them because again, most of the time when somebody collects, you collect Davis, me, Northcutt, Josh Johnson, all my other myriad of characters, Bob,
Busts.
all the guys that are working. There's all those hooligans ringing the doorbell. all the players, Brad with Marino, Brad with his Columbus Blue Jackets, Stoddy with Brandon Whedon,
Ed with his multitude of collections, though, too.
Ed with his Puddinhead collection.
Well, Phillies. I mean, Phillies in general. It's.
The what is it, Walking Dead or whatever the other show is.
Well, he's also got the Eagles PC.
What's the show? It's the medieval shit.
I didn't watch it, so I'm not going to call it out, but I know what you're talking about. He's probably going to Game of Thrones.
So, but people are telling a story. Ed talks about these characters. I've never watched a show. I don't have any interest in it. But he is into it, and then I can learn. It's not like I'm going to watch it, but at the same time, I'm going to learn something from him, and I know he likes it, so at least whenever we talk, when we meet at a national, and he punches me when he asks me the capital of Thailand, Game of Thrones asshole, I'll at least know some of these. I want to say Killian Dane, but that's a wrestler. It's like Kyrian or something. I think is one of the main characters. I don't know. But again, I've heard him say some of these names, and he's passionate about it, and that's
and there's stories, but there's stories to go with it.
Forging the friendships, because guess what? I know Brad's passionate about the NFL because he'll talk about the Titans secondary for 20 minutes and how they're not going to stand a chance against the hot knife through butter that is Ryan Fitzpatrick. I know that. And then it's like, okay, Brad likes football. I can buy into Brad, and then know about Brad and know about his merino collection, stuff like that. We'll go back constantly. You don't have to lay all your cards on the table. But when you start laying a few out there, you're going to see more people that are genuine people be more receptive to wanting to get to know you. They'll, again, it's not a buy-in, but they'll buy into the content you're putting out. You'll see them comment on your stuff, reciprocate. That's the one thing too. Because I bring up the etiquette part. If people, and I'm bad. I'm starting to go through some of the stuff back in like June and July to like respond to comments because I see them. I get busy. It's not an excuse. It's just if I've got the minute right there, I'll hammer something out. I get busy with my Russian car crash videos and dash cam videos and watching NASCAR that's like 4 weeks old or whatever. And
well, so Dave, let's be realistic. It's no different. It's no different for me. Ty, you're mentioning, going back and watching all the videos that Dave has put out there and, talking about the same thing about, doing the same thing for me. I can't speak for Dave because I won't do that. But I tried my best to respond to every comment because people took the time to make a comment. And it wasn't, great stuff.
Yeah.
Those, I'm going to be honest, it's like, yeah, did you even fucking watch it? I mean, you almost want to post a comment and be like, okay, thanks for watching. What was the third card that I, what was the last card that I showed? Or what question did I pose at the end of my video? To actually, okay, I know that's kind of shitty, but I always did my best to respond to everything. And it gets hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those in which, it wouldn't be so hard these days. I get a small handful of comments. I probably should take the time and respond. But, Ty responded in this shit, was it on one of the original podcasts, I think, or even one of your videos, and he thanked you and everything else. And then you had mentioned, both of us, really have interest in this and we're really trying to, help people out and inform people and things along those lines. And he's like, oh, yep, you're right. I need to make sure I say something. Ty, this is Ty talking then. Mm-hmm. I made sure that I responded to him and be like, hey, look, it really is a pleasure. And acknowledging the fact that him taking the time, I wouldn't go that far. Oh, I was like, now that's it. I read that originally. Now that's a gentleman. I'm like, no, I wouldn't go that far. I don't know who you're talking about here.
Clint.
What's going on, Clint? And Clint has 2 videos on my watch later list that I didn't have a chance to fucking get to either. I am so behind on videos right now. It is freaking beyond ridiculous. And it actually pisses me off because I got to the point to where I was pretty,
caught up
on top of it. But, it's one of those in which, to your point earlier, I could probably take extra time to return the favor. Just know that everybody who comments on my videos, I read them and I appreciate them. Most of the people who comment are in this room right now. So just know it is always appreciated, and I know I can always count on you to watch the videos. I watched Ed's earlier because it was, most of the ones I have now on the watch list are like 15 minutes and longer, so I have to carve out additional time. But I made sure I watch Ed's that he posted. And, the fact that forging friendships, man, these segues are just working great tonight. How the hell is this even possible? See, you guys need to be paying for this shit. Breeze and Awaits. on the lookout for the Ghostbuster figures for Ed, for something that he has interest in, from nostalgia from his childhood, and then the extra add-ons and everything else. I mean, that's what this is supposed to be about. It's not about getting your free shit. That's not why you build these friendships, is to get free stuff. It really isn't.
No.
But when you forge those friendships, those lifelong friendships, at least that's what you hope. Situations like that happen. People think of you in certain situations, and they will reach out to you. Or you can reach out to them. Hey, I know you're going to a card show. Please be on the lookout for this. Doesn't mean that they're going to go to every freaking table looking for a card. That's not what you're asking. But they're still going to put forth an effort to go look for something. You can't do that with random people. It's all about people that you build that friendship and that camaraderie with, to allow those opportunities to transpire.
Ed, I'm gonna have to watch that, because I went to Wally on what? Sunday? I think it was Sunday. And I saw a bunch of Ghostbusters figures there, so I don't know if that's the new stuff you're looking for, or you're looking for old ones. I have no idea.
No, he's looking for the new, so they reissued them, but they look exactly like the old ones. He needs the Marshmallow Man and Slimer.
Okay.
Right, Ed? I got that right, didn't I?
So say if those are the two, I didn't see those. I was looking for Egon, and all I saw was like the black dude and a chick and some other chick. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, he got all the characters that he was looking for, but he needs Slimer and the Marshmallow Man. Wow, brownie points! I got something fucking right. Woohoo! All right, we can call it a night. Thanks for coming, guys. Nope. Just kidding.
Yeah, I saw those, and I'm like, are they redoing the film now? Or have they redone the film? I know they did with the chicks a few years ago, and that was a absolute dumpster fire. With one of the ones from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that was a shit show. I actually watched that, I don't know, a few weeks back, and I'm like, can I please have my hour and 45 minutes back, please? That was bad.
Oh, just a retro release? Okay. Because I've seen like the He-Man figures out now too, like littered in the Walmarts.
Don't talk about He-Man. That's still a sore subject in my life. Just saying. Of all the things, so we were talking about toys earlier and talking about Mask, and I think I still have all my Rambo stuff too. Go figure. Because Rambo films were big during that time.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that survived my childhood, so to speak, from a toys perspective. I had a big old freaking metal tin. It had all my G.I. Joe, all my original Transformers. Now, I didn't have a crap ton of Transformers, but I had quite a few. And back in those days, they were fucking metal. They aren't plastic. They were metal. And I had He-Man running out my ass. And my mother had a coworker. So, mind you, I was 13, 14, 15. I was starting to get into my... Oh, I loved the shit out of it. 14, 15, 16. Shit, I don't remember how old I was. But my mom had a coworker who had a young boy, and They didn't have a shit ton of money type situation. And she was like, would you oppose donating them to, this? And I was like, you go to those situations to where it's like, nah, I really don't want to. But, knowing the situation, it's like, well, shit. And somehow my mother convinced me to donate them to said kid. And yeah, just saying, that sucked. I'd be sitting on a small gold mine. Just saying. Because it was all the original crap, man. It wasn't any of the reissues or anything. That was all original. And I mean, I played with my stuff, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, it stayed in fairly good condition. The only stuff that I still have left from my childhood, other than my mask stuff, I have some of my original Tonka.
Okay.
The yellow ones that were metal, not plastic, metal. Those were definitely well played with because they get a little rusty. But I still have them.
Yeah, that's.
So,
I still haven't went down that rabbit hole completely. I mean, I've said before, I've looked up the mask toys and to look up the fucking base or whatever it was. I'm like, oh no. And then there's a semi, and then there's like some other.
I had almost all of them. I'm telling you, Dave. And I'm not.
I looked them up, and I'm just like, oh.
Before.
All I want, if I get stuff, is I just want the original driver with the original vehicle with their original helmet.
Which I got.
I'd love boxes, but they're not going to do me any good because I'm going to be a 40-year-old guy and I'm going to be playing Mask.
So when I find them, and I know they're still in my garage, and I mean this, do not go deal with shit on eBay. I'm being serious. We can work something out because I would rather them go to somebody who I know can appreciate them. I don't appreciate them anymore. Yes, they're from my childhood. But at the same time, it's clogging up my fucking garage. And I would rather them go to somebody who I know and truly would appreciate them for what they are. And we could sit there and go on a live stream and, as I find certain ones or whatnot, you could make the decision. Here's the condition. This one's missing this. A lot of my stuff was complete, but it's been moved about 15 million times. So there could be a possibility that something could be missing, which, if you'd rather buy something complete, then I get it. But I'm not gonna rake you through the coals either. You know what I mean?
Oh.
But yeah. The Venom semi thing, yeah, I got it. Rhino, I got it. Jackhammer, I got it. I've got the base. It's missing a few small parts, but I got it. I'm telling you.
That's where I've looked up before. Well, I've looked up masks several times, but I don't know, 6 months, a year ago, I looked up micro machines. That was another one I had a shit ton of.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened to mine either because I had a crap ton of them too.
I had the little. It was like the old, like a steelworker's lunch pail that folded into like a cityscape.
Yep.
I had that, and every time I think about it, I'm like, fuck. Where did all this shit go? Because I'd be the 40-year-old playing with that stuff because it's fun. Those toys were so much fun. You didn't have to have a phone. You didn't have to have a Nintendo Atari. You didn't have to have the internet. You didn't have to have other people because you were in the imagination. I'm just like toys, cars, and a cityscape. And yeah, the G.I. Joes I had some Ninja Turtles. I had some of those. He-Man. My brother, I think, had more of those. I had, I think, the GoBots and then Transformers. I know. The mask stuff is not price conducive these days. Or at least I got the last time I looked, it was I was like, wow, that's gonna be shitty. A gator is like $30. It's just a Jeep, the boat that comes out, and I got an orange helmet. But and like Matchbox cars, I could never keep them closed now. I'd want to play with them. I don't find fault in saying that. I loved Matchbox cars. We beat the shit out of.
Oh yeah.
That just I'd purposely, if they were getting old, I'd somehow break a wheel off, so you'd have the junkyard or have like a race car in a crash or something, so it's actual. You'd have like the tow truck that had the actual swinging thing, you hook it up, so it was real life. Yeah,
I,
that's more than a couple hundred. That's a
well, it depends. It
if
depends.
you've got the box, it's a five, six, $700 thing. At least the last time I checked, and I mean that was again years ago. But
Because
I can't.
like for me, mine's not fully, like I'm missing like the gas hoses. I
Okay,
mean, some of the small shit. I never had the box either because that one of my friends at the time actually gave it to me.
okay.
So that's the only way I got it. Um, there was something else I was trying to think of, and hopefully a lot of us in here are around all the same age. Um, so they were cars that took batteries that had engines that you could put in the car, had different type of tires, had a track, everything else. I want to say they were like called afterburners or some shit like that. But I'll have to do a deeper dive and see if I can't figure it out. But they used to have competitions on TV for these cars. And they had rollers on the side that you could add to make sure that they would like stay in the freaking track and all sorts of crap. But they had rubber tires, foam tires, chrome rims. It just, they ended up basically stopped producing them, so to speak. So at the time I actually got into them, all the shit at Toys R Us was on clearance. So I got like in my, this is, I got lucky one time with my mom. She was in one of those moods. It was like 70% off or some shit. So I got the track and I got like 6 or 7 different cars, multiple upgraded engines, multiple upgraded rails. It just, but I would set that freaking track up and try and figure out ways to make my car consistently go faster by tweaking the motor.
Hmm.
Hero Quest.
I don't remember.
I
Again, if I saw them, that might jog the memory, but off the top of my head, fuck, I can't remember. And again, that was the era that would everything was advertised.
Yep.
If they had a game, they had an old game, they had a new game, they were re-releasing a game. I mean, it didn't matter. They were constantly. I mean, every toy that you could think of.
Had them both, Ty. Had them both. So I'll give you a game story, Bob. This will have to go back a few years. Original PlayStation. I don't remember how long it had been out, but I had a Sega Genesis with a 32X expansion and I had a Game Gear. And PlayStation had come out. I wanted a PlayStation, all because of Resident Evil. That was the only reason why I wanted it. That and Road Rash. So, Funko Land, that's the precursor to GameStop, folks. If anybody remembers Funko Land.
Remember.
I took my shit in to trade it in, right? All my games, everything. I got more money for Dune on Sega than I did for the system. And that's because most people didn't buy it. I got like $42 or $45 as a trade-in for that freaking game. It was crazy. So some of those older games and stuff that don't have a whole lot of popularity, I can definitely understand where that value comes into play. Yeah, how'd we get on freaking it doesn't matter. We need to start calling this the random podcast.
Well, insert revolution, insert whatever it is.
Touche.
Game wise, I still have. I think my brother's got the Atari. I don't know who got the Nintendo. He might have got that.
I still have my Nintendo.
I have the Super, and I still have the box for it.
No shit.
That's one thing that's made it through all these trips. I'm like, fuck no, I'm not. That thing was so cool to look at. That was, I'd say, one of the best birthday presents ever, because it was just, you got, mine had the what? It was right when it came out. So you had the Super Mario World, you had Mario Kart, and then I think you had like the Mario 1, 2, and 3 and the Lost levels. But you had to send that for that one in, which sucked because that took like 2 months to come back. It's basically like a Christmas gift by that time. And just played the absolute shit out of it. And then the next one I got, I think, was the 64. I didn't do much with Sega. I never jumped into that. That's probably why I like the PlayStation more than the Xbox. Because the Sega controllers seem to be more, they morphed into what like the Xbox controllers were, and the PlayStation were somewhat Nintendo with that little wing on the bottom, but then
See, I was going to say I went PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and then I went to Xbox, and I haven't gone back.
because I've
But then again, I don't game anymore. I still have them, but I don't game anymore.
I've got PS2, and I bought that when it first came out, and that was spendy as fuck.
Yes, it was.
And then I
traded in all my shit to get my PS2.
see, we had, I think the GameStop was down Duluth, but again, I just didn't go there because there's so many of those what I call gaming nerds that are just always littered in there. It'd be like I don't know if I could equate it to the card people. It'd be like probably the investing people now, being in a brick and mortar, talking about like, well, this Acuna PSA 10. It's got a 32% rise in the last 60 days. And I see it going up another 14%. Like, just shut up and enjoy the fucking car.
So you never went to a midnight release then, I'm guessing?
I got stuff. I got stuff like the day after. Vice City and San Andreas. I got those right away. Madden was another one. I think I got right away, and I think everything else. The funnest game I had for PS2 was the not Tony Hawk. What was it? SSX Tricky.
Oh, I love that game.
Holy balls! That
was fun.
The soundtrack plus the tricks after you just start mashing and showing the controller to do whatever, and then so fun. And again, it's a snowboarding game with unrealistic jumps and rails and whatever other shit. Oh, just a blast.
But you could play it for hours and not give a shit.
I did that. I bought that. It must have been a year or two after it came out. It was like $10. I'm like, oh, I like the song, or like Run DMC. So I'm like, I like snowboarding up here or whatever. That's fun, whatever. But yeah, then it took about a year to like, I better probably open it up and see how this game is. Oh fuck! That and Vice City. That's all I played. I get the cheat code to go across the bay on like the race car, and so then I go to the other side. If you didn't do all the missions, you couldn't go over there. But I could with the cheat codes because I had the computer paper. Go with the perforations in the side with every cheat code on there. Go over there. You find a new place to save the game. Oh, just
Cheater.
If they didn't want the information available, it shouldn't have been on the internet.
I'm giving you shit. I hate golf with a passion. However, the first Tiger Woods game that came out on Xbox, I played the shit out of that fucking game. And I don't know why. But, going playing tournaments, buying new gear, all this other kind of crap. But, oh my God. Up, down, left, right, BA, start. That's the cheat code for Contra to give you 30 lives. Yes, I remember that one too.
That was a great game. Metroid was a great game. Zelda was a great game. Double Dragon was a great game.
Double Dragon. Yep, I remember.
Oh, God.
Golden Axe.
All that stuff. And then you go we had a bar here, but on the other side, it was like more of a diner. And then downstairs, the guy had like 15 arcade games. Just pour money into that stuff constantly. That Double Dragon, just beating on those buttons.
I was in middle school, I think. I mowed yards briefly just so we could walk 2.5 miles to the 7-Eleven to play Golden Axe and just throw freaking quarters in that bitch.
For N64, Mario Golf in like 2000. I know the group of guys I hung out with, it would have been sort of like post high school, a couple of years later. There's one that's I think about 3-4 years older than me. One was a classmate of mine. Then I had one that was a year older. It was his house because they were down in Minneapolis and they just had the house up here. And then there's I think 3 or 4 that were like a grade below. We had every fucking gaming system
between all of you,
like 4 or 5 TVs. But the main thing we played was Mario Golf, just to annoy the shit out of each other. You had like Mario would say "Mamma mia," or it'd be sarcastic. Somebody have a horrible shot. You'd be like, "Ooh, nice shot." I'd be fucking way off the screen, out of bounds, and you'd be like, "Shut the fuck up with that stuff." You're pissing me off. You'd have controllers being thrown.
I remember I remember when Mortal Kombat hit the Genesis, and you had to. Okay, so which one was it? There was one in which they allowed you to enable the blood for Kano's for all the fatalities, but mostly for Kano's. Was it Sega that did it later, or was it, I? That was one thing that pissed me off when it came out because I played a shit ton at the arcade too, and Kano's fatality of ripping the heart out was freaking just satanic. I'm just saying. But that game was so ahead of its time. It was no different than Killer Instinct. The only difference is Killer Instinct really didn't have fatalities. Killer Instinct was all about the combos. But, the original Mortal Kombat by far is still one of my all-time favorites. And then Mortal Kombat 2, this always talks about how old I am. Mortal Kombat 2, when it hit the arcade, and then not long, after it was, I couldn't remember the date range when they actually released it to the console systems. I had every major move, every fatality, every babality, every friendship, every stage fatality. I had the whole fucking thing memorized for every player. So I said, to hell with it. I always played with Shang Tsung. Oh, you want to pick so-and-so? All right, well, I'll morph into so-and-so and I'll beat you with your person. It was one of those in which I loved that game so freaking much that it's like it was ingrained in my head forever. Street Fighter 2 was another freaking game that I loved to freaking play in the arcade. Mm. It just, the old games, granted, these days the freaking graphics are just fucking unreal.
This. People hated playing against me in E-Honda. Fuck.
Cheat. That was such a cheat.
Back him into the corner, they try to jump up and you jump and you kick down and then boom it. People would fucking flip. I loved it. And NHL, not that you liked it, I think it was NHL 96. There was if you're going up the screen on the left from the blue line, anytime I shot from there, I'd score.
I played hockey in the early game systems because they were fun.
Oh, so fun.
Freaking with your little speed burst as you're breaking away and stuff. And you're playing, I always played on the easiest level just because I wanted to see how high I could go. No different than, Joe Montana football on the Genesis. That's back before Madden even existed. Or, Tecmo Bowl.
Oh.
I just... although they were so antiquated and so grainy and shit, my best friend, his dad, he was a CPA, and he actually had a home PC. Granted, you're talking, with the 5.5-inch floppy disk computer, really old.
People don't even know what that is.
Well, some people may not. But he had Doom. And he had Wolfenstein.
Okay.
And that damn thing was 7 or 8 discs to freaking load that damn thing. And you want to talk about slow as hell and super grainy and super glitchy. But man, we would sit there and play the shit out of that because holy crap, this is the fucking coolest thing ever. Because it was a step up from, Nintendo, but it was still pretty damn bad.
Yeah, for Super, I loved Griffey Baseball, the first one. That one was.
I remember that, Vinny. Those were the freaking coolest fucking thing when they started doing the ones that you could actually sit in, or even like, I don't want to say Excite Bike, but some of the motorcycle games, you're actually on the bike and you're freaking doing this.
The Pizza Hut here had one where it was like not Excite Bike, but it was like you go the sweeping curve, and it was either like the ocean was the backdrop, or your desert, or you're going through like a valley or a mountain. That was anything where you actually, instead of joysticks and buttons, or you actually had to do something, or you could participate like it felt like you were there.
Yep.
That was the best. But yeah, the Griffey Baseball was insane. We again, for the shitty day out in the summertime, guess what? There's about 8 of us playing that game from probably 10 in the morning till about 6 at night. Mario Kart, I still will challenge anyone in fucking Super Nintendo Mario Kart, and I'll kill you. I will absolutely obliterate you. I challenge anyone. I will lay down that gauntlet, and people up here, like, oh, I've played a lot. Nope. I can jump right back in. Give me one round to get my bearings back, because again, it's not like I'm playing all the time, but oh fuck, I just either with Koopa or Toad. Those are the two, because they have the most control. I mean, Donkey Kong and Bowser, the quicker, the speedier, but you can't control them if you stop. And then if you stop, it takes forever and a day to get them going again. But I played the shit out of Mario Kart. There was a time on Rainbow Road where I would just rip through that on the 150. Now I tried that again with the retro thing I got, and
Not the same.
that seemed to go away. that skill was lost over the years. But I mean, I'd hit a few things and be like, oh, here it goes, and boom, go off, or one of them stupid boulders with electricity would hit me and I'd spin out. But everything else, I was like, this is fun. It just brings you back, and you don't have to go through 70 levels, pick up 40 hidden things, kill 20 enemies, 2 bosses, a mega boss. Those are fun games, but sometimes you just want to fucking play a game and not really think about it.
Yep. Just race or play golf or play baseball or and that's for me early on. There was no online gaming for all of us. I mean, it was you were sitting in a freaking room with your buddies or your friends or whatever, and playing 2-player. I mean, that's the max you could play, depending on what game you were playing. And when they started doing multiplayer and everything else, I had my brother-in-law. I had his boss and a few of his friends and stuff. And I mean, we used to play all the freaking time. Midnight release for Call of Duty. Just saying, we were in line for midnight release. We would take a week off from work, dude. And this is no bullshit. We would take the week off because it would release on like a Tuesday or some shit. So we'd work Monday, go to the midnight release. We'd all try and race fucking home. Mind you, my brother-in-law and I would wait at the store that we had it reserved at. I lived a hell of a lot closer, so I knew I was going to beat him home. But his boss, who lived in Houston at the time, we didn't know how close his GameStop was. So it was always a competition. Okay, who the hell is going to get on first to freaking check it out and make the first phone call, be like, oh, shit, dude, you're not going to. And we take a week off. And we played and played and played and played. and played because, it was just one of the things in which we did. Call me crazy. That's fine. We did it for, I think, 3 releases. And it got to the point to where our group expanded to where we had 6 or 7 guys that we would normally play with. And then it got to the point to where everybody stopped playing. So it was like, why am I spending for my Xbox Live, $60 a year? Why am I buying games that nobody's freaking playing? So it got to the point to where I have my 360 and my what's the other one?
Xbox One.
Thank you. It's like I can't even fucking remember what it's called. Sitting over here collecting dust. And I have my original Xbox. They're all collecting dust. What a waste.
That's where I bought the what? What must have been 4 years ago, I think. Before I went down to, again, the forging friendships thing, going down to Monticello, meeting up with Ryan and Neil, Tyson, all sort of the RBI crew group. Josh, BB Express from, I think he was on blog a little, but he's more on YouTube. I think who else? Micah, Systemic was there. Mike Cancellari. I don't know how many other people. There's a group. I think John Summers, which was Bojack something.
Bojack Empire.
Yeah. And we all played golf. But on the way down, I think must have been 2 months before, I'm like, okay, there's a Let's Go or Let It Go app. Basically shit to sell. So somebody down, I don't even know where it would have been, Forest Lake, which is just north of the cities. I mean, one of the last suburbs before you start getting into the city suburbs. Had an Xbox 360, and I want to say 75 games. Everything still with the games, everything that the Xbox came in the original box, and it had, I think, 2 controllers. Didn't have the Connect or whatever, but I bought that down the road for like $20 brand new in the box, so I didn't care. They wanted $250. I said, hey, you take $175 for this. Just shot in the dark. Yeah, we'll take that. Like, oh, okay. You know how many times I've even opened it?
None.
Naomi wants to play that, so now we get bigger TV here that I'll have to find. I think it's in the cabinet back there somewhere, but I don't even know what the fuck games they have. That's the thing. I don't even know. And I know I bought stuff along the line because I'm like, I don't think there was a golf game in there. I don't know if there was a hockey game in there. And that's what sucks. I wish everything would just be one gaming system. Sort of the anti card world. I wish everything was in one because I like a lot from everyone.
Yeah. Well, and there's always goes back to that competition.
Yep. Oh, I know.
PS4, now gets the early rights to Call of Duty, but before it used to be Xbox, and it just they go back and forth with these exclusives of who gets shit first, and it is what it is, but at least it's not. To a certain degree, you don't want a monopoly from a gaming perspective, because there's goods. I mean, there's good and bad things to both systems. But at the same time, it's from a football perspective, it's a monopoly. There is no competition. You're kind of stuck with what you got. At least some of the other sports have, the ability to have some sort of variety.
Best Buy, that used to be such a good store. Now it's just shit.
And your response is always, well, they're for the kids, honey.
Yeah.
But I have to show them how to play it.
It's bonding time. Yeah, I would do that too.
Oh, the original GTA days.
Ooh, so good.
I played a shit ton of that too on PS2.
On the original PlayStation, my brother for Christmas got, this will be one, and I bought, I think, Black on PS2, but Twisted Metal.
I never played that.
Oh, fuck. That game, that was a fun game. Just mayhem and chaos. And again, it just so fun. I mean, that one, he had that, and I think he had a baseball game. Like maybe whatever it would have been, 98. Because I remember making, because he didn't have him on the roster, Troy Glaus for the California Angels. But I made him left-handed, and I made him, I think, for the Marlins. So he was like 6'5", like 240 pounds, left-handed. Put his power all the way up. Speed was just mash the ball. See, here we go. That
never.
Oh god! And then the laugh, that cackle, that evil cackle in the background.
I know the game, but I never played it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I always knew about it. It was one of those in which I never played it.
So
because I didn't want to speak out of line and bring up the clown car because that's the first thing that came to mind, and then I was like, is that the one?
Like the ice cream truck. That, oh god, that's just so much fun. And the Twisted Metal Black was fun too. But again, when you stayed basically to form, but there's stuff you changed that it wasn't as fun, I'd say. Because again,
no, go. Sorry.
It just, I don't know, when you had more options for like weapons, I didn't need you for that. For me, I didn't need 50 weapon choices. I just wanted a few. And then just running into people and fucking tearing shit up. That's all I wanted to do. And have like the cool little background music, like you're just driving around. Especially when you get down to like just you and whoever else is playing or the computer. Because it's basically, here's all the cars, there's like 8 cars, and it's like basically a demolition derby, last man standing. So, I don't know, I liked it. But the Twisted Metal Black, thankfully, I think I got that for like $20. But again, it's still a fun game. I think the original that much better, and that much more.
So I wanna highlight Ty's comment. My mother told me I did not filter y'all. So that sparked something in my head. So for me growing up, there was no such thing as parental advisory, explicit lyrics, or extreme, NC-17 violence type of shit in my house. If I wanted a tape, yes, I said tape, or if I wanted a game and it was rated, above where it should be, it didn't matter. And the reason why that sparked in my head is because, there were a few times in which my wife and I would get shit from parents when they would find out, that my stepson was playing, Gears of War or Call of Duty or Grand Theft, all these adult type rated games.
Mm-hmm.
Mortal Kombat, anything along those lines. And it's like sitting there thinking, well, don't you think that has a negative impact? Are they going to automatically think that it's okay that, to kill people and all this other kind of stuff? When you die, you don't regenerate and all that. And I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. first and foremost, and I hate to say this, if you restrict or you ban that to a certain degree, they're going to find a way to get a hold of it. And it's going to have a lot more of a negative impact. It's all about being involved and paying attention to what your kids are doing outside of home to a certain degree. I played all the fucked up games. Okay, so I may be a little fucked up, but I'm not to the point of where I'm sitting there, a freaking serial killer and everything else. I mean, come on, let's be realistic here. Common sense plays a lot into that, but it's more than just allowing, it's more than just them playing the game, so to speak. It's all about upbringing and, instilling certain morals, values, and everything else. But the fact that like I said, this is no bullshit. We would have parents that would sit there and ban their kids from coming to my house because, we allowed him to play those games. And it's like, you do realize that that's going to have some potential adverse effects because now, as parents, you have to still be able to put your foot down. I mean, there is such thing as, being a parent. But to sit there and restrict something that is fictional and you educate them and make them understand that this isn't real, this is fake, this is make-believe, usually you're going to be okay. But the fact that he would have friends that would ban them from coming to the house because they were afraid that they could be exposed to a Call of Duty, Mortal Kombat, Grand Theft, was a little excessive. Just saying. And this is just me talking. This is my opinion. Others can disagree, and that's fine. But I was like, really?
Well, yeah, that's what I've never understood. You'll see, again, a lot of the church or morality groups. I'm going to get a couple comments in here. Bob was out after pretty much a tie. Yeah, that's about the age I think people really start to really figure out, okay, this isn't real. It's a movie. It's put on for entertainment. This is a game. This is made for entertainment.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I always say, you have a lot more influence on your kids than what people realize. It's called parenting. And, things can go wrong. I mean, it happens. You can only teach them so much until they really are on their own. But it's all dependent on what morals, values that you instill in them and hope that they stay true to form and it sticks with them. But at the end of the day, once they get old enough, you've done what you can.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to be a fuck up, it's not because you fucked up. It's because they've made certain choices in their life that made them a fuck up. You didn't teach them to be a fuck up.
Yeah.
You didn't, do drugs. I mean, come on. And the fact that, call me progressive, but, I saw my first boobie in a Playboy magazine about that same age. I was probably about 10 when I saw my first rated R movie because during the summer I would stay up, and in my house we always had HBO. When I lived with my grandparents, we always had HBO. And come on now.
Red Shoe Diaries.
Back in those days, you had all the strong sexual content, and also during that time you would have a lot of your horror movies and everything else. So, like I said, I'm not a fuck up. I may be a little fucked up, but I'm no worse for the weary.
Yeah, you're not going around public and honking on chicks' tits all the time or something like. I saw boobies. I mean, during the day.
No, I do that in the cover of darkness.
Bela Lugosi. Yeah, it's, again, what I've always said in any of my videos when I start ranting and rambling, even back on like Facebook, I'd say, there you go.
No shit. Watched
Don't-
that a few times.
Don't, if you're a parent, or you're a guardian to some child, or whatever, your job is to lay down sort of a blueprint of how to be a decent adult or a decent person that can eventually be a decent adult. Don't be your kid's best friend. They're going to turn out like shit. Period. That's not what you got jackhammered or jackhammered for, is to make another friend. You want a kid to try and again mold into somebody who you'd like them to be if they choose to stay in the confines of whatever lessons and life plans you've given them. Great. If not, you've done what you can do. They'll choose their path. Again, you can't choose it for them.
Yep. And
But
it
yeah.
boils down to decisions. It's life decisions. And let's be realistic. We as adults have made some shitty life decisions. I mean, that's why they're called life decisions. Life is never easy, and you make a decision in which you think is the best at that point in time, given the situation. Could go one way, it could go the other.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, you put yourself in a situation to where you need to make a choice, and it's not always the best choice. Burglarizing a house at 13 years old. Okay, not burglarizing, vandalizing. Let's get it right. Set of friends. Oh, well, yeah. Come on. We've all made stupid decisions. We've all broken the law. Some of us may not have been caught, but it's still breaking the law. We've all done it. Whether it be intentional or not is a different topic of conversation. But we're humans. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to make piss poor choices, piss poor decisions. But the whole objective of life is to learn from those and not repeat. If you consistently repeat, then there's a problem. And I don't think there's anybody here who would disagree with that assessment either. It is what it is. And being a parent these days is fucking tough. I only imagine what it was like for my mother, raising myself and my sister, how difficult it would have been. But, I look at things nowadays, and it's harder for us parents raising kids these days than what it was for our parents. And I hate to say this, but freaking help us all when our children have kids. I'm not sure I want to be around to see it.
No, yeah. So if something tragic happened to me, I'd be like, well, it sucks for people left behind, the people I care, but you know what? Good, because I don't want to fucking see what's going on. It's just going to be a literal shit show.
But remember, one thing about being a grandparent is you can spoil the shit out of them, and then here you go. Give them right back. And then it's no longer your problem.
Get Halloween candy. Oh, time to go.
Oh, I want this. Oh, what? You want a 10-pound box or a 10-pound pack of chocolate? Sure, sweetheart. Sure, honey. Sure, you got it. Why don't you go and sit down and eat half that fucking bag? because your mom and dad's going to be here in about an hour.
You want a Coke to wash that down?
That's the one thing that's the advantage of being a grandparent. You can spoil the shit out of them, do things that you're not supposed to do. Like, here you go. Have fun. I mean, my mom and my wife's mom, no longer with us, but they weren't that bad. Thank goodness.
No.
But, at the same time, it's being a grandparent. That's the fun thing about being a grandparent is being able to spoil them excessively. Because I will tell you what, my grandmother spoiled the shit out of me. But not to the point, hey, I lived with them until I was 13 years old. So it's not like it was, here you go. So there was still some limitations there, but, she spoiled the shit out of me. Freaking gummy bears out the ass from the grocery store by the pound type situation. You go to the candy bins and you buy it by the pound. All my football and baseball cards and shit. My sister didn't get crap. Very rarely. But I was spoiled rotten. But I was the only grandson. I mean, I was the only boy. So, I had my sister and then I had three cousins. They're all female. I was the only boy. I was the only one who had interest in football, baseball. So we had that connection. Mm-hmm. So, of course, I was freaking spoiled. So, I had to buy my own car. My first car, I had to buy my own. My sister had help buying hers. Just saying. But we won't get into that. So anything else that you can think of, Dave? Anybody else have any topics, questions? Because we're coming up on the 3-hour mark. We are trying to do our best to try and
keep it right around there. I'd say back to like the friendship stuff. If you're not putting it on video, I took a picture, like the screen grab or the thumbnail or whatever it is. It was from, I think, Ryan, RBI Crew, one of his trade nights. And that's one of the first people I'd ever heard of having trade nights. I mean, yeah, you go to your brick and mortar and, hey, there's Jimmy over there and there's Kurt over there, whoever. And yeah, we'll talk shop or whatever and we'll maybe trade. But there's never any gathering other than a card show to go to. It's like, okay, June 12th, there's a card show at the Deck in Duluth. I'll go to it. There wasn't, hey, Collectors Connection down there has a trade night like 2 weeks prior to that. From 4 to 10, there'll be beverages, there'll be like snacks or whatever. Bring your box of cards, let's trade, talk shop, whatever. So I think, and again, I could be completely wrong, but he was one of the first to do that. And that's, I think, because of him building the friendships with us at the time and everybody else that supported him along the way. He knows how much of people and actually seeing each other face to face, trying to build camaraderie and whatever that way. You can go through that. I like that because, again, I've been to a couple down there in St. Louis, and again, I'm 12 hours away.
Yeah, I'm 10. I'm 10 myself, and I've something that I want to go to. I mean, I can go as far as even saying it's on the bucket list. But, at the same time, it's one of those in which I want to make sure that I get the most bang for my buck, mm-hmm. and wanting to ensure that, it would be one that you were going to, and Smitty would go to Michael would go to.
Joey
No,
and Jones, and to get to one, I think he's going to a card show this upcoming weekend with Scotty Tradition Scott, because he's just like, I was supposed to be at that game last night, the Packers game. So that's a huge part of this, where I think because of him, there's a card collector too. I think that's another Ryan. He's got a shop in Columbus. He does a lot of that stuff. He sets up the big trade night experience at the National. He'll get like the biggest hotel ballroom or whatever it would be called. Rents that out. He has all the companies and the card companies, gift bags, shit like that, and geared more towards the younger set there, which is good. You got to keep kids in the hobby because
Yep.
they're old. But that's a huge thing that I credit those guys with doing, and just keep on pumping it up, where you're involving people. Just, it's like a basically speed dating at a card level. And like the first show I went down there to Ryan's for like the pre-national or whatever it was, I basically just talked with Smitty, Michael, Luke, Drunk Trojan, and Neil and Tyson. Basically the whole time. That's all I did. That's all I wanted to do. I bought some stuff from Ryan. I made, I think, one other trade, and that was it. I didn't really care because I wanted to see my friends.
Yep, you were there to actually have those face-to-face conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, that was no different. The first time I went down to Houston to the TriStar show to meet up with Ryan and Neil, and I drove down to Austin, met up with Scott.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, we had talked a bit. We had texted back and forth. We were pretty good friends from all. Offered for me to stay at his house. We had never met before, ever. So drove down, met up at his house. We then drove down to Houston, hung out at the show, went out to eat with Ryan, Neil, Steve Mayadep was even there.
Okay.
And I mean, that's not a hop, skip, and a jump for him.
No.
Accordion Jacob was there, and some of Ryan's other card guys that he would set up at shows with early on. Went out to dinner, that type of shit. Had a blast hanging out, having conversations or whatever, and then drove back to Scott's house, and we went on blog. Opened a few boxes that we bought from the show. Great conversations. Drank a shit ton of beer, and it was like, fuck. By the time you look at the watch, it's like, holy crap. Okay, yeah, we time to shut it down. I mean, I had to drive home. Austin's 4 hours from me, but that'll always be a highlight from those early years of the YouTube and forging the friendships and building those friendships and everything else, because without that I would have never driven to Houston to go to a card show by myself type situation. It's always better when you have a companion when you're driving. I mean, anything over a few hours really sucks. I mean, I did it to Austin, but it's one of those in which it's still one of my all-time favorite memories. I have a calendar, one of the desk calendars. That's the wrong year at the time we went down there. But I was like, I need something to, commemorate this. And I think Scott has one too. But everybody signed the back of this desk calendar, who all ended up going to dinner that night. And, it's still one of my prized possessions because outside of meeting a few people here and there at, what I consider my local card shop, which is not really my local card shop. It's in BFE, really. That was the most amount of people that I'd hung around with pertaining to the YouTube community. And it was a fucking blast. I mean, the conversations, the jokes, the cutting up, the kidding around, the having a few, beers at dinner type situation. I mean, it was a shit ton of fun. And, I want to be able to go to nationals. I mean, that's still something that's on my bucket list, but it's one of those in which I want to make sure I get the most bang for the buck.
Mm.
And, the people that I want to finally meet are going to be able to go, or trying to find some sort of alternative way to be able to meet up with some of those people, because those situations, I still say they're on my bucket list. Something that I want to be able to do.
Yeah, and Joey was hoping that Ryan was going to have something down there, I think, this month, but I don't know if Missouri, what they're doing for all the rules and regulations and whatnot, but I don't think it's going to come together because he wanted me to go down there. He wanted Michael. He's trying to get Smitty, Luke, because him and Luke are good friends too, and it just wasn't going to work. But at the same time, those are easily the most memorable parts of. I've been to 3 nationals, 2 of those shows in St. Louis. And for the national, in 08 and 09, I didn't have any YouTube friends because I wasn't on YouTube. But I had people that I had known from the Beckett message boards and like the Beckett buy sell trade for 8, 9, 10 years. And that was the same thing. I'd talk to these guys on the phone. And the guy I stayed with in Leland, Illinois, and then we went over close to Rosemont to stay there. I had never met him either. And so I'm staying
What
at
was your asshole point, Paula?
his parents. And I'm like, never met him, ever. But we had seen how each other had acted over the years in the Beckett message boards with just a train wreck of nonsense. So going there and meeting a few other people, but then in 09 when we went to Cleveland, that was a shit show of people because we had like 10 people from a news site that had started because Beckett got stupid. They fucked everything up, and then so we all started a new site, Collector Planet, and there was I don't know how many people there, like 10 of us in 2 rooms, and it was just chaos. And then in 11, my first one of current YouTube, I think Ryan in his shop has a big picture of all of us at his table. And there were people, again, I'd have to see the picture, but some of the people that were actually in that picture, I don't even know what happened to them. I think there's one younger girl that collected the Cardinals hardcore, and she loved Adam Wainwright. I want to say it's Maya 13. I think Thundering 24 was there. Michael, Wilkie, Scott, Chris Fralin, Ryan, I am 140. I mean, there was like 25, 30 people
I came back outside, Paula.
from YouTube, and that was 2011. And that was like,
You know where.
I made sure to take pictures of everyone there because it's like a reunion. It's one of the highlights because if you're really invested in this hobby and you're really invested in the people that you interact with or watch or do whatever with every day, those moments are going to matter. And that, again, that's 9 years ago. And that's still, I was so excited because, again, I was intermingling with YouTubers and then my trading card guys from 10 years past. So, or 12 years past. So it's just super fun to do that because you can, again, probably in the morning you won't feel like it, but at the time you're going to feel like a kid. It's like a Christmas morning feeling where you walk in the door, shit, there's Michael Phillips, there's John Smith, there's John Summers, there's Ryan, there's Neil, there's people you've known forever. And again, it's almost like the Cheers feeling. You go to the bar and it's like everybody knows your name. And it's a good feeling for you to have because you're like, okay, these people care even though maybe you just haven't talked to them at all. And you care because every time you're around them, there's laughs, there's good-natured ribbing. You'll get to see cool cards, you'll get to hear stories, ask how their significant others are or what they've done or whatever. And again, it's genuine. It's not just this pompous bullshit where you're putting on a mask and being fake to put it out there that you're part of a community and you care what the community does. Those people that want to elevate themselves above the community, that's the rubbish we need to sweep to the wayside. But those moments again, it's so much fun meeting these people. And then there's a new site too, the Freedom Cardboard. I was on there. So in 2011, I got to meet all those guys. And it's just like, again, it's for me, I don't like people. I know it's a shock. Some of you that are co-hosting with me or still watching, you can't believe this. I don't like being around dipshits. So you're saying, why go to a card show? Because the good outweighs the bad. I'll take a couple negative experiences from that show. I can take out 100 good experiences. So that was that was the fun part. Got to meet the Freedom Cardboard guys. Got to go in 16 or 17. It might have been 17. Ben, you always show your hits. He showed up there. He's all from New York. I got to go to a Cardinals game with one of my good dear friends for many years, Sam Banks, a big wrestling fan and also a Cardinals collector too. So I mean, and meet him for the first time, and I mean, we've texted 10 years constantly. So again, it's just, you don't have to text all the time. You don't have to lay all your cards on the table. You don't have to do any of that stuff. But if you want to talk to kids, you have to put something into the pot. You can't just take from the pot.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Son of a bitch. Where's the hole plugged in the damn laptop? Yeah, usually he does pretty good, at least in the podcast. Now all of a sudden he's letting loose.
Well, that's the second Gatorade too, so.
Oh, excuses, Dave.
I've had more than one, but that was the first big one. I've tried to keep them on the
download.
I don't want to sit there and sound like Barney Gumble from The Simpsons and just be like,
bleh. No, that would be my wife. She'd put him to shame. Just saying.
My farts do. They put a lot of people to shame. Yeah, we're also going to see fart videos on a podcast co-host. Some of those ones have over like 1,000 views. I don't know why. That's amazing. The fart videos. Am I like?
Oh, really?
I'll check sometimes. I'm like, what the hell's my most watched video? And it's usually, I think, one of the trading card ones from like 10 years ago, like for sale, trade, whatever.
That one still pops up in my feed from time to time.
Don't know why. There's nothing in there worth a shit. I have no clue. And then the demolition entrance from the wrestling a few years ago, and then some of those fart videos are like right at 1,000. I don't know why.
Some people in their twisted own self. I don't know.
The R-rated videos and movies didn't get to me.
No.
Before we go for the night, they'll show a couple cards.
As long as they're not hockey, Dave.
I had the one, but that's all right. Got that one in.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't even know what it's over. The inscriptions, I don't know, some Pinnacle product of 97. Who knows? I don't even see a number on the back. So that's the only bad part about a lot of that stuff. If you weren't paying attention to what it was or whatever, a lot of that no number shit, it's a troublesome task trying to find it. I don't even know the odds on this. I just liked it.
I'm disappointed, Dave. So is that Skybox Premium?
Yeah. And it was something I've never seen. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to go the rare time. Because I think it was like $2 and then whatever, 2 shipping, 3 shipping. Superlatives out of, I think, 2,000. I just liked it.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, what the hell is this? So I figured may as well jump on it. Then I'd look down the road to see. Well, whatever. And I like that foil again. It's not.
I was going to say the foil is eye catching.
I hate that this is off center, but I'll take this. They got this in one of the lots of inserts.
Oh, good old SPX Force. So is that Marino, Aikman?
The one on the bottom is tough to see because he's wearing like a.
Is that Flutie?
Favre. That's Favre.
Is it really? That does not look like him.
And then Bledsoe up on top. But yeah,
Well, I knew Bledsoe at the top. But wow, that's like a really bad picture.
It looks like a high school
photo. Yeah, that's still a really bad picture.
Everybody else is in their jersey. He's got like a dress shirt on. He went to country western. Yeah, or he looks like a Garth Brooks like wannabe or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely, as you know, I definitely didn't pin that as. So that's the gold script.
Yep. I think that was like under 10. Number to 100.
Still trying to find them superscripts?
Yeah, I try to find anyone, even people I'm not even looking for, just to know how tough they are. I think this was, $5 ship, somewhere in there.
I hadn't seen that one either.
The artist-proof variation of the Starstruck 95 score.
I hadn't seen the Starstruck for that matter. That's a cool looking card. That's why I always say I wish TD would have been drafted a year earlier.
I think I showed this before, and I know you, Madonna Gold Refractor. I think that was under 15 shipped.
Still one of my favorite stars.
Again, it's the old die cut there, and I love those. And again, I probably overpaid because I think one came up right after for like $6. I paid like 18. But again, I know it's like a one every couple $3 is. And it's like, just get it out of the fucking way. And I
Right.
like it too, so I mean, it's not like it's shit. Not the star one. I think the star one sold. There's a couple of these have sold. I don't know if word's filtering out or what. There we go.
Could be.
I know Matt was last week excited about Carlos's enthusiasm about some cards. When he showed the Madonna, he was like, this is a decent copy. This is acceptable. It's like
Well,
a serial number to 10. It's acceptable.
there was somebody selling a whole set of the gold star. $575, $599, I think.
That doesn't seem that bad.
I don't know if it ever sold or not, but I came across it.
I'll have to look that up.
Let me see if I still have it on the watch list, and I'll send it over to you.
These are tougher to find and run across just because, again, they're only the 25. And again, the key on these, yep, you can see it, the hologram right there. Again, it's something that can be forged. Anything pretty much can be. But with these, that would be a notation that it was a pack issued card, because they did have unnumbered ones of these nature that players from the photo shoot could trade amongst themselves. I've got several of these, but they do not pop up ever. So to add it to my Northcutt collection, add another one, I should say. And I think the last one I'll do, just to show off this, because I still thought it was a steal of the year. Abreu stuff, if you watched. That's insanely, I wouldn't say cheap, but yeah. I don't think people fully realize. That's a pretty good price.
Shit, stay the hell out of there.
Yeah, I stumbled across that some time ago. Oh, nice.
Which my max bid compared to what I paid for it was substantially under.
That's nothing wrong with that. Totally certified.
So, yeah, I don't know if it's because he's not in a Phillies uniform that the people that have been buying Abreu at stupid prices didn't jump in on it.
Who cares?
I put this on Instagram. I think I offered 125 for one earlier in the year. The guy counted at like 170, and I was like, no.
No.
And I think he's finally come down to like 100 or 100 flat buy it now. And I laughed. I'm hoping I get a message from him saying, "You want that?" I'm like,
No.
bought it for a quarter of that price. Just a few things that I had available with the move. So at some point there'll be a couple more videos. I've said it many a time, but I've got that stack of hockey I can go through too, that I showed off some of that last week. But yeah, that's go on my buying spree, and I wanted to space the stuff out and not just blow the load to show everybody right away.
Nothing wrong with that either.
And I've made it to October, which I never thought I would do. I thought I was going to show everything in September, and didn't. So
Oh, see, you still got time.
focus.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that's good. I think we covered pretty much the friendship thing and talked about games and toys and
Insert.
insert here.
Oh, man.
I think we're good.
Sounds good to me.
So until next time, next week, same time, same place.
Wrong way.
I got it right the first time. I'm batting 500. So.
Yeah, it's the opposite direction of what you think. So like on my screen, you were to the left of me, so left hand. If I go right hand, it goes the opposite direction.
Still, I'm like, oh. maybe that'll become a thing that isn't always screwed up, but
who gives a shit?
Take 2, take 10. He's Steve. I'm Dave. We thank you for joining us. And again, if you see this afterwards, you got any comments, criticisms, questions, anything,
Topics.
Hammer on that like button and subscribe and whatever, and subscribe to Steve and all that fun stuff and Patreon. But remember, building collections of cards, that's wonderful. If you're in this hobby or anything else in life, building the lifelong friendships, that's what really matters. Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.